Okay, so now look at this me gaming star here, and today I am back with another episode of Greatest Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time we had basically started off the part 2 of basically started off the trial again, and yeah. This time we're gonna go ahead and end it. We're basically at the final stretch. We're at the end. This hopefully will be the final episode. Let's go. A lot of revelations last time, but this one we're gonna have more. So, witness, please state your name and occupations for the court. Witnesses: Yuji Mikatoba, lecturer of forensic science, at Imperial University in Tokyo, Japan. And Professor Mikatoba, the young lady beside you is... this is Dr. Maria Gori, Scotland Yard's practicing coroner, the daughter of Dr. Seif, I understand. Yes, Dr. Seif. Said she's in jail. I'm afraid I can't tell you why she's here. She's just up here. You summoned the strange Japanese man as a witness to the autopsy. But you don't summon Mama? That makes no sense. She was there too. That's about the size of it. I've had her eyes boring into my side of the cheek constantly while it was the antechamber too. Antechamber, poor man. They can't be making me shot her. The revelations about Dr. Seif that came to light some days ago that filed reputation in the entire judiciary. She was therefore deemed unfit to appear as a witness in today's proceedings. The Ministry of Justice decision is final. Well, we wouldn't want any more perjury to be committed, would we? The Ministry of Justice? Some questions strings are being pulled here, I think. I remember you, Dr. Mikatoba, but I certainly never expected to be meeting you under these circumstances. Yes, it's been a long while, Lord Strongheart. The prosecution understands that you were a visiting student in forensic science in London until 10 years ago. That's right. I studied under Dr. Wilson at St. Sinners. So you were present at the autopsy of my brother, Lord Clint Van Zeeks. I was, yes. I assisted Dr. Wilson with the entire procedure. Mama's far more skilled than any Japanese man. Well, Dr. Wilson asked me to be his primary assistant on the occasion. And this autopsy report was actually penned by you, I believe. Yes, I noted all the doctor's findings, and when we were done, we read through the document and signed it. Poor Mama, a secondary assistant. She wouldn't have such a good view of all the innards. So, Professor, do you remember Inspector Gregson? Yes, of course. If it wasn't for his insistence, Lord Van Zeek's autopsy would have never happened. But he was absolutely convinced that it would reveal decisive evidence against Genshin, you see. So Lord Strongheart had to entreat the nobility to allow it to take place. So, to correct me if I'm wrong, my lord, it was as a result of the autopsy that a mass murderer was apprehended and justice was done. I don't think that was justice. But Gregson admitted that before he was killed, he admitted that the results of the autopsy were fabricated. You were there at the time. You must testify. You have the obligation to tell the truth. But what really went on? Absolutely. That's precisely why I'm here. And that's why I'm here too. Very well then. You'll give your formal testimony now, witness. But before you begin, a word of warning. Oh God. You will state truthfully and accurately what you saw and what you heard at the time. And whatever you do, no matter what, my lord. The moment your testimony emerges on the position, it will expel you from the courtroom. Remember that. You're very authoritarian, you know that? God. You know, Strongheart, you're very authoritarian, man. You know? Alright. I have some almonds right by the computer, so I have them right there, so I'm going to eat them later. But, there we go. From my own observations, I couldn't say there was any indication of autopsy results having been fabricated. Death resulted from wound made by Western-style sword transfixed to the heart. That I found a little strange. There were no other signs of internal injury, nothing questionable at all. It was just this beautiful but dangerous piece of evidence but removed from the man's stomach. Presumed to have been swallowed by the victim as a way of posthumously identifying his assailant. How do you swallow... it's kind of disgusting. No indication. Nothing to suggest fabrication? Professor Mikatoba, are you certain about that? Well, nothing that I could possibly identify as such, much as swear in his testimony. Well, that clears things up nicely. The only fabrication here, Asogi, has come from you. What? You claim that the inspector confessed just before his death, but that is a fabrication! No, he freely acknowledged that, I swear he did! Freely? With the tip of a sword at his throat, the man was clearly at wit's end. The court will give no credence to his confession that was utterly previously disprobation. Quite simply, there was nothing questionable about the investigation Lord Clint Van Zieks' death, and with this testimony we have without question uncovered the whole truth of the matter. If I may, my lord. There was most certainly something questionable about it, and the whole truth does rather elude us, I feel. I beg your pardon. No question mark, just I beg your pardon. Well, you're obviously aware of the facts of the case. All 4 of the professor's previous victims died if an enormous beast was set upon them that was ripped out their throats. Oh, such a horrifying crime. But this one was by a sword. But curious, the killer's last victim, Lord Clint Van Zieks, suffered a different fate. Yes, you're right. Yeah, that's true. He was stabbed through the heart with a sword. That's enough. Oh, I believe I warned you about this, witness. I promised to curtail your testimony as soon as it entered the realms of supposition and speculation. I will cross-examine. Very well, my lord. In that case, the defense will pursue a conclusion during cross-examination. What? I have the right to cross-examine every witness after testimony. And I fully intend to exercise that right. Ryunosuke. I'm afraid that even the preceding judge has no authority to contravene the letter of the law. I'm sure every member of the jury present in the gallery would agree. Shanghart, you are lying, and that gavel is being that unicorn head is being stabbed way too many times on the poor table. Very well, you're going to counsel. However, the moment you agree with Sturdy's established facts, I will hesitate to bring the cross-examination to an end. Proceed with caution. Yes, my lord. Okay, so let's see what we got. So, what was this deadly piece of evidence that was talked about? Let's go to number 4. What was it? What exactly was it, though? This beautiful but dangerous meme. Well, it was a sparkling round with a hole, as if it might slip over a finger, perhaps. It was a ring, belonging to Genshin Asogi. My father's ring was inside the victim's stomach? At the time, Genshin wore a large ring on the digitus quarters of his left hand, the 4th, or ring, finger. I'd understood it was some sort of keepsake. When my father left Japan for London 16 years ago, I was 8 years old. But I remember that ring. You do? My father's possessions were sent to our family home in Japan after his death, but the ring wasn't among them. Obviously not. It was a key piece of evidence. It remains under lock and key to the stores of Scotland Yard to this day. After the autopsy, Genshin was summoned to the police to check the presence of his ring. It wasn't on his hand, of course. Moreover, there were deep abrasions in his finger where it had been pulled off. They arrested the man there and then, right before my eyes. How could they? I brought the ring along with me today. Thank you! What? Oh, thank you! Here it is, a bit of dusting from years in stores. Good gracious, yes, that's it! I haven't seen this in 10 long years. It was found inside the victim's stomach? Yes, I'm afraid so. You hesitated there, Professor Mikotoba. Should I read something into that? Well, I was thinking back now. I didn't actually witness the moment it was extracted from the victim's body. Oh my, really? At the precise moment, Dr. Wilson had asked me to fetch the new scalpel, you see. Scalpels! Dr. Gory, the removal of historic evidence from the stores requires my consent, does it not? No, it really doesn't. However it came to be here, the court cannot deny the crucial evidence of today's proceedings. Very well, you may submit it. Alright, we'll check this baby out. It's not sort of normally seen in Japan. It's almost like claws protecting the ring. The jewel was examined very carefully, and Naruhodo was very careful indeed. Alright, let me see. God damn! I thought claws were doing a good job protecting the equally fat gemstone in the middle of the ring. Yes, if you were clumsy, you'd give yourself a rather nasty cut, I would think. Yeah, it looks pretty sharp. Ow! Now your finger, no, my fingers bleeding. The claws really are sharp. Oh my, that was very clumsiness, Mr. Metal, even for you. Whatever is such a dangerous ring. You couldn't even swallow it without doing yourself some fairly serious damage, surely. A sticky mochi bun at the sides would go down much better with some red bean paste in the middle. Someone as clumsy as me would probably manage to choke it down somehow. I'm pretty clumsy myself, don't get me wrong. I'm really clumsy myself. So obviously this ring is way too sharp. I mean, it's sharp enough to cause a nasty scratch. Like, look at that. Look at that thing. It's like, holy shit, this thing is so fucking sharp. Like, god damn, look at that, dude. It's like, oh my god. So, like, obviously, it's impossible for it to be completely unscathed. So there's some questionable things. There's obviously very, very, you have some internal injury. I mean, swallowing that thing whole, you have internal injury. Imagine swallowing that goddamn ring up. You would scratch everything. You scratch your throat, you scratch your stomach, everything will be fucking bleeding, and you'll bleeding eternally to death by that point. So, nah. So, yeah, it is very questionable to say the least. Objection! The court has heard the ring is extracted from the victim's stomach, but you didn't actually see it being removed, did you, Professor Mikatoa? That's right. As I said in my testimony before, at that moment, I was fetching a replacement scalpel for Dr. Wilson's request. In other words, you can neither confirm nor deny whether this ring in fact really came from the victim's stomach or not? What are you suggesting, counsel? Oh, that the ring was never in the victim's stomach to begin with. The entirely feasible that Dr. Wilson fabricated that detail about the autopsy. What are you saying? That Dr. Wilson? That Dr. Wilson was in possession of the ring in advance, after it somehow stolen from Mr. Isogi. And he produced it during the procedure, pretending to have found it there and then the victim's stomach.
Objection!
Supposition at best. What possible evidence do you have to support the retrohash claim? This evidence, right here. That's the autopsy report! Explicit report, counsel. Other than the ring, and the figure was noted eternally intended to prove the point. You've already done it for me, my lord. The lack of eternal injury says it all. What? To swallow a ring of that size would require considerable effort and determination. That's true, I mean, look at that thing. In addition to its size, there are sharp claws around the gemstone to contend with. My brother was a determined man, and on the brink of death, even more so, I'm sure. He would have stopped at nothing to ensure that evil killer was brought to justice. But if it really had swallowed the enormous ring, it's inconceivable that no traces of his passage down this road would remain internal trauma. No, that's true. That is true. And yet, you've arrived at a sticking point. That precisely is why I had my doubts about the findings myself 10 years ago. Then why didn't you say something at the time? I did. I still remember the conversation I had with Dr. Wilson in the laboratory that day. Look at this! Now this is a very curious find in the man's stomach, wouldn't you say? But isn't that rather peculiar, Dr. Wilson? What's that now, Mikatoba? Well, if you swallow a ring of that size, with those sharp metal claws that it has, surely you would expect to see damage on the throat and esophagus? Torn mucous membranes at the very least? Dr. Mikatoba, may I remind you that I have vastly more experience than you? I'm terribly sorry. I can think of plenty of ways to explain why no injuries would have been seen. No, let's say this. Go ahead, write it down. Let's say this. The victim would appear to have ingested the item of evidence to identify his assailant. Go ahead, write it down. So, yeah, that's odd. So I was right. Dr. Wilson typically fabricated the results of the autopsy and implicated my father. I'm disappointed, counsel. The argument is nothing more than speculation. What? Dr. Wilson was Britain's leading authority of forensic science and autopsy work. There is no scientific basis of which to doubt the man's expert opinion. Pardon the interruption, my lord, but damage to the mucous membranes of the throat is easily identified, even in the living subjects. It is, actually. Using a device called an endoscope, recently demonstrated in practical use in France. I want one. The government can pay. I don't think so. And Dr. Gory, rest assured that your removal of evidence from the stores without permission will not go unpunished. They open up the dam to find the truth. What? I beg your pardon. But Mama, she chose to stitch her corpses up with all her secrets inside. That's wrong. Dr. Gory, it's looking as though she's chosen to walk a different path to her mama. Better girl. Yes, the ring. What about the ring? I've just remembered something. As an earlier incident. What incident? The one I recounted to you before, about a memory I have. Of Ryunosuke saving my life. What? My father saved your life? It was 10 years ago, on a foggy night. Genshin and I were walking down some back streets at a late hour. All of a sudden... Don't make a peep, you're coming with us! All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scars. The next thing I knew, there was silence all around. Genshin lay on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. He shielded me. It was on the ring finger of his left hand that he used to wear that ring. Ah! Are you saying? I've always believed those thugs were after me. But now, I'm starting to question if perhaps I wasn't the intended target at all. Wait, but... Genshin was arrested 2 days after that attack. And in that short interval, the decisive evidence needed to indict him was miraculously found. You mean the ring was stolen from him? You think that's what those thugs were after that night?
Objection!
Oh, shit. You pathetic coward! You expect me to believe that you weren't involved? What do you mean by that? It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who took it. You stole my father's ring! You set the whole thing up so you could paint him as a mass murderer and have him arrested! Kazuma! Open your eyes! Ryunosuke, you must know deep down. The truth can be completely obscured even when your judgment is only slightly clouded. But at the moment, you seem to be floundering through a dense fog. Character growth. Is that why you're so insistent I should be present in this trial? To see you like this? Wow, this is an amusing spectacle. What a grandiose expression on your face. She's really justice herself. Seems you've thoroughly convinced yourself of this alleged fabrication autopsy results. So much that you're apparently blind to the blatant contradiction that would born out of it. What? Though it's extremely hard to believe, let us imagine that there was some misconduct during the autopsy. Oh, you had that smirk on your face, bitch! If that were the case, why would Asogi have not disputed the findings in this trial? In a close court hearing 10 years ago, the defendant never once denied the claims against him. Because he was forced to agree? Isn't that right, Lord Van Ziegs? Yes, that is indeed correct. Upon hearing the verdict of guilty, he merely closed his eyes, quietly accepting the judgment. The actions of a man who has accepted responsibly for his deeds and is resigned to his fate. But then... Oh my, that is very strange. If Mr. Asogi did nothing to oppose the charges against him, then what would surely mean there was no fabricated evidence? An obvious conclusion to which she should have arrived many minutes ago. Prosecutor Asogi, your twisted loyalty and clouded judgment are hampering your ability for logical thought. Genshin Asogi's silence at his hearing can mean only one thing. There is no fabrication of evidence during the autopsy of his final victim 10 years ago. Yeah! But wait, this is kind of bullshit. But if that autopsy was all above board, there'd be nothing to stop Lord Strongheart bringing his trial to an immediate conclusion.
Objection.
Thank you, Ryunosuke. If it wasn't for your frank words just now, this trial may have very well ended prematurely. Kazuma? What's this latest absurdity, Council? My lord, your reasoning is perfectly sound, but for one giant hole! I beg your pardon. You claim my father's silence was due to the fact that there was no fabricated evidence. But there's another possible explanation. He was forced to, except you've overlooked the possibility that he had a reason for maintaining the silence.
Objection!
Silence that would lead him to be convicted and sentenced to death. If their autopsy results were an invention, there's no conceivable reason why the man wouldn't have protested.
Objection!
Unless there was a reason. Oh, those results weren't an invention, alright. There's no question of that. Or are you forgetting that these people with a connection to the autopsy have been assassinated? If I force grievances I feel from my mind, I start to see you in a very different light. I think perhaps it's you who's been living a delusion these 10 years. Me? Kazuma-sama has created one last chance for us here, Mr. Naruhodo. If we can only show there's reasons for us to trial, a reason the man would have done his innocence could have been part of some negotiation perhaps. Enough for the record, the court must have shown evidence. What proof do you have to possibly explain Sogi silence in court?
Take that!
Dismissal notice. It's true that Sogi's silence during his trial resulted in conviction. But that didn't actually lead to his execution. On the contrary, it led to his escape. Escape that was only possible because he'd been sentenced to death. Although I find it hard to believe my father would have negotiated that way, the defense is correct. A fake execution, falsified death certificate, and a jailbreak inside a coffin. Clearly such an elaborate plan would have been carried out by my father alone. Couldn't. He must have had the help of a collaborator from the judiciary. I have here the dismissal notice of the chief warder who was working at the prison at the time. The notes read, there are indications that a jailbreak was in planning prior to inmates' reincarceration. In other words, there are suggestions of some sort of negotiation between Mr. Sogi and the British government. In exchange for his silence in court, he was given an assurance that he would be broken out of prison. Yes, with that sort of clandestine agreement in place, I can imagine that he would have kept very quiet. I would go further than that. In fact, I would say that the elaborate jailbreak Mr. Sogi can be explained no other way. Order! Order! First fabricated evidence, and now a jailbreak conspiracy? Of course, because it's all evidence. The prosecution wishes to summon new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses. I know who. People who can testify about the jailbreak that took place 10 years ago. Huh? Governor Caden, the poor chief warder of the prison, and the poor chief warder. I won't allow this child to turn to farce to summon the governor of prison after all these years. Oh, it won't be any trouble, my lord. What? Father? My dear friend may appear a little rapid at times, but I can assure you he is extremely firm. He wired both Barclay and local prison earlier. Asking Governor Caden and Mr. Vigil to attend Old Bailey is a matter of extreme emergency. Mr. Sholmes did that? Are you telling me that both men are, unless I'm much mistaken, waiting just outside the courtroom at this very moment? Holy shit, Sholmes, you mad lad! God damn! Dude! Sholmes was ready! My lord, you must permit this child to proceed as he declared at the outset. Damn, he's sharp. You promised that we would stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind those disturbing findings. Dude. Very well. Bring in the witnesses. Make no mistake, I too would like nothing more than to lay business rest once and for all. Well then, why are you so hesitant? Would the new witnesses state their names and occupations for the court, please? Hey, Betty Caden, Governor of Barclay Prison. Everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passerbys by your other persona, if you don't mind. Oh, I do beg your pardon. Of course. He still thinks he's gossip. My name is Daly Vigil. I used to be the chief warder at Barclay Prison. The reason you've been summoned to here in court today is to testify about the jailbreak the so-called professor 10 years ago. Losh, the professor! We've already been through all that before, a decade ago. And the conclusion, so is it anything what happened? A convict escaped from your prison, Governor. Hardly would you call nothing untoward. Ah, well. Alex does certify was falsified is largely executed.
Oh, Paola is recording, huh?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Paola's dad here. Paola's dad just got back home.
Hey, stop! Governor Kaden will imagine passing your time code for your protection. If it turns out that you were involved in that plot to break Mr. Soge out of prison, then of course, the consequences will be very serious. In all likelihood, a capital punishment. Yeah, hold on there, laddie. All I did was... Witness? Governor Kaden. Hmm? Ah, I said... You have a critical role to play in the public safety of our country. A great responsibility to shoulder. The significance of your testimony in court cannot be understated. Therefore, think carefully before you speak. Prosecutor Sogi.
Besito, un besito. This is Paola's dad.
Stop! Friend waves getting home comes up court. My apologies, my lord. There's no disputing the fact that it incarcerated jailbreak plot was detected 10 years ago. Clearly, you were both involved in some way. So testify before the court that will explain exactly what took place. Very well. Let the witnesses give their formal testimony. Tell the court everything you know about the plot to break Sogi out of Barclay prison 10 years ago. Oh, okay, well, oops, I skipped. It was the day the Japanese jock was found guilty in directive man of the prosecutor's office. I signed a convict and chief warder de Vigor here and put the plan action behind the scenes. I accidentally skipped it. I thought we were. I was responsible for Sogi right up in the night of his execution, but I knew nothing of any plot. I didn't go that it's negotiations between convict and prosecutor's office. All I did was carry out my duty for the Majesty's Great British Empire. Okay. A director from the prosecutor's office? Are you saying that was the jailbreak plot? Eh, that's right. What? Who sent it? Who authorized that plan? I didn't know that. You're saying you don't know? Listen, there wasn't a thing about Ubuntu Professor case that wasn't unusual in some way. I didn't ask any questions. I just did what I was told to do. More than that, I couldn't tell you. I see. But if the jailbreak plan originated from the prosecutor's office, then one thing is very clear. As a suspect of Clay's dealings going between Mr. Sogi and the office. The jailbreak was promised in exchange for Mr. Sogi admitting the crimes he didn't commit. That, counsel, is nothing more than speculation on your part. So, let me ask the defense. Oh, yes, my lord. I fail to see how these witnesses have any more proof information here. Do you intend to assert your right to cross-examination? Absolutely. I have no intention of squandering a single opportunity, my lord. It seems all you Japanese are fiercely tenacious. Very well. Proceed, counsel. Here we go. Let's go to statement number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All I did was carry out my duty for Her Majesty the Great Empire Britain.
Hold it!
Did you carry out the plan in its entirety? Hey, did everything I could at the time. As you know, Genshin Asugi was shot dead in Logate Cemetery after escape. Tell me, what was that part of the plan too? My instructions were to do with getting the joke out of jail and nothing more. Cannot tell you anything about what would happen after that. Only, personally, I believe his death was the last part of the plan.
Excuse me.
Excuse me? Mr. Vigor, something wrong. Yes, sir. What can I do for you, sir? He's saluting now. What is this? Some sort of Barclay convention? What Governor Kaden was saying seemed to upset you. Did it bring something to mind, perhaps? For the last 10 years, I completely blotted out the memories of the time from my mind. I was betrayed by my superiors in the name of my country. Just as my father was betrayed, it seems. But you see, thinking back now, I really can't imagine that shooting Mr. Sogi in the cemetery was ever part of the plan. What makes you think that? Well, it just doesn't make sense, does it? To make the man admit the crimes he didn't commit with the promise of a jailbreak, only to kill him in the end. That's treachery of the worst kind, but the point is, if the intention was always to betray him, why would there be any need for all the chicaneries of his escape? Ah! That's true. Yes, that's quite true. If whoever negotiated with Asogi never intended to keep his or her end of the bargain, it would have been far simpler just to let the man be executed in prison as dictated by his sentence. It all happened in that vast chamber of secrets that is Barclay behind the high prison walls. I suppose nobody knows what really went on in the execution room now. Yes, it's an unsettling mystery, certainly. Truth be told, there is a wee matter that's never quite made sense to me. Huh? If you believe there is some kind of negotiation behind the jailbreak between Asogi and the body of the rep, it doesn't quite add up, does it? Governor Caden, I must insist that you explain these doubts that you have by admitting formal testimony. Gads! Hey, go on. Someone's getting pissed. It tells me the Japanese man that didn't have nothing to bargain with. Got so much evidence! Holy shit! Asogi papers. Alright, let me see here. Last will testament of Genshin Asogi. I, Genshin Asogi, hereby request upon my death, any and all material possessions belonging to me in London will deliver to my son Kazuma Asogi in Empire of Japan. It is a deep sadness I accept my fate in this foreign land, acknowledged I will never see my homeland or family again, but I regret nothing about my chosen path.
Objection.
This could help fill it in. Confessing under oath to murders he did commit on verbal assurance, later being broken out of prison. Genshin Asogi was taking an incredibly risky gamble. Very true. There is nothing to stop the British breaking their word and executing him behind closed doors anyway. Under normal circumstances, no man would stake his life on a gentleman's agreement like that. Which means that Mr. Asogi must have had a trump card. Something like that guarantee he wouldn't be betrayed. Some kind of weapon. How of it is the fellow could possibly have anything like that? But you know he did go. The Asogi papers, the name given to the last law and testament of Genshin Asogi. Ah! It turns out that Mr. Asogi was hiding his will in his cell at Barclay. Chief Warder Vigo caught him with it one day. You squealed, did you, wee rat? You're trying to keep the secret! You can't touch me now! When Mr. Vigo caught sight of the will through the bars in the convict cell, Mr. Asogi pleaded with the warder. Alright then, but what's on that paper? A last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. A weapon? And after the convict had been killed following the elaborate pretense of the jailbreak, that document mysteriously appeared, didn't it? Well, yes, all the prison warders searched through the belonging cells, but that will was just nowhere to be found. And I understand there's an exhaustive search made for the document which became known as Asogi papers. Governor Caden, I believe you ordered your prison staff to find it all in the house, didn't you? Eh! Would I be right in saying that you knew that the so-called Asogi papers had to make potentially great waves somehow? Jeez, what the blaze are they blabbering about? The will was found, right and proper. The fella said as it would be. How? But I can't be you were in the cell. We searched the place from top to bottom. Oh, they didn't bop the job, you pilly wily galoot. You can't criticize me now. I showed it to you before, did I know? You own lawyer. Yes, you did. I have a document here. It's written in Japanese and it reads, "The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi." Which means everything is as should be. Not quite, my lord. You see, there's an undeniable inconsistency here. What? What inconsistency? Mr. Asogi described this document as the one only weapon he had left, and yet this will contains nothing of a significance at all. Nothing that would have given the convey any leverage. Are you suggesting, my learned friend, that the last will and testament stored at Barclay Prison all these years is actually a fake? As it clearly been documented already, what went on in Barclay Prison was far from above board. Oh, boys. That last vilification by the defense was an affront to the entire British legal system. Sorry, jeez. This absurd notion of a weapon is something for which we have only a former chief warder's word. The man could quite easily be lying, or at the very least, sorely mistaken. What? No! I definitely heard him say that, I swear! Clearly we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to know exactly what happened with these so-called Asogi papers. A waste of time! If the will was fake, where's the real document? Mr. Vigil was stabbed in the back by the chair 10 years ago. He lost everything. He nearly very nearly his own life. And now you're going to do it again. You're ready to brand him a liar and turn your back on him without even letting him defend himself? It's clear that Barclay Prison is hiding something. It's clear that the jailbreak was masterminded by somebody in the prosecutor's office. It's clear that your lordship is going to gloss over these obvious reprehensible facts? What did you say? We should hear more from the chief warder. Have him testify again! The trial must go on! The man's voice must be heard! It would seem that the vocal few here are utterly blind to the truth. Oh, you're blind to the truth, you dumbass. Intentionally. Very well, let the witness testify again. Let the court precisely what you think you saw of the convict's last will and testament. Yes, sir, my lord. Okay, here we go. The Asogi papers. As the warder responsible for condemned convicts, I attended Mr. Asogi and kept watch over his cell. The night after he was found guilty in court, he was doing something like this cell. We turned the cell inside out looking for it after the execution, but to no avail. I only found the booty Asogi papers when I scared came telling me and found them. The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe that was left in the cell. A kimono, I think it's called. It's kimono. Oh. It is kimono. That's a lie. We searched every inch of that man's cell. We looked through his clothes. It can't be true. What are you not certified calling me a liar once, eh? You wee waffing. There's nothing I can do about it now. I don't have a hold of you anymore. There's that tag in the carpet, of course. Is that what you're gonna do, is it? Are you going to give me a good shake again? Or are you too scared? Little and large. What a double act. We comply with Soki's will as far as is possible. All of his personal effects are delivered to his family home in Japan, except for the ring. As courtesy of his homeland, is the most notorious killer our country has ever seen. And we're much obliged. I can confirm that all my father's belongings arrived safely. Eh, and you cannot deny the handwriting that's your own man, eh? Yes, there's no mistaking that's my father's brushwork. Really? And so that's will and testament of manless weapon, was it? I think it'd be safe to assume the conflict's merely prattling, knowing his end is nigh. Oh, stop with the smirk of yours, bitch! So, counsel for the defense, cross-examination, please. Alright? Yes, my lord. Let's go to number 5.
Hold it!
In Mr. Asogi's kimono. Eh, the one he brought with him when he was locked up. Yes, it was permitted to have his personal effects of him during his incarceration, I understand. That's right. He was granted a few as much freedom as possible during a few days before his execution. Indeed, a number of items for his significance I remember. He was very reluctant to part with them. Some books, that kimono, his sword. His sword! Karuma, the famous sword of the Asogi clan. It bears the soul of my family. I don't doubt it really wasn't getting at that. Forget it being the soul of the clan. Could have been a man the more obvious weapon. Have some respect, Ryunosuke. Respectful silence! The warders carry firearms at all times, and the inmates have shackles around their ankles. He couldn't have hurted anybody with that. Still, he was allowed a sword, no writing materials. Hey, he wrote that will afforded him say of the Barclay, you see. Dr. Mikatoba was asked to bring necessary Japanese writing implements in the prosecutor's office. A Susui inkstone, black sumi ink, and some hanshi rice paper, no doubt. I was present when he wrote, but I'm sorry to say, the letters just look like a squirmy mass of jet black air-fitted worms to me.
Excuse me.
What is it, Vigil? Tell me, bro. Are you feeling faint, Mr. Vigil? Mr. Vigil! Sir! Well, Scarlet, sir. Scarlet? What? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to blurt it out like that. Scarlet ink. There was some place we heard scarlet ink before. I know where. Let's swang and more explaining, have we, Huffle? Is it something about the testimony we heard? Have you recalled something important? Something of importance. Possibly or possibly. I'm unable to tell which way he's leaning, I'm afraid. My lord! The defense may ask Mr. Fickle to permit us to supplement his testimony with this possibly or possibly not important detail. Permission granted. Go ahead, Mr. Fickle. Yes! It was scarlet! As I remember, the document was written in scarlet ink, but perhaps I'm mistaken. 4 pages worth of evidence. Also, by the way, there's actually a little achievement you can get here, which called the clan, Soki Clan Appreciator, which is basically when you check it out. You check out the sword, Karuma, the great blade, great beauty of brothers. If you check it out, the tip of the great sword broken. Such a shame. It's very scary over here. I can always hear crowd of the sobs. Karuma's ever taken something that happened. So yeah, if you it has to be at a certain point, but not now. But in a later point, when you do it, then yeah, that's when you do it. But yeah, let's go ahead and present Clint Van Zieg's autopsy again. There we go. Because remember what we saw. Recent scarlet ink stains. Objection! Scarlet colored writing, as you said, Fudge. You saw, Mr. Vigil. And I believe that's exactly what you did see. What? Evidence again? You have no evidence, say that? Have a look at this report. That's my brother's autopsy report. Yes, and there's something in here that's bothered me ever since I first read it. It states that the scarlet-colored ink stains were noted on the fingers of the victim's right hand. Yes, so it does. Scarlet ink? Now, I'm not familiar with the habits of British... I freely admit. But I would hazard a guess that they don't go around with ink stains on their fingertips, do they? Your wit is not appreciated. My brother was well-bred and fastidious man. But should ink have soiled his fingertips, he would have cleaned them immediately. What is your point, counsel? My point is this. Whatever Lord Clint Van Zieks was writing in his unusually colored ink, it must have been directly before his death, because he died before he had the opportunity to clean his hands. What? I remember something troubled me at the time. At the scene, the lid of my brother's inkwell was opened. Oh! But Clint was punctilious about such things. It seemed unusual, and no document penned in the color of the inkwell was ever found. So the document had disappeared. Are you suggesting that the document my father had in hand that night in his cell was the same document that Lord Clint Van Zieks was writing moments before his death? Yes. Then it was. If Mr. Viggle's testimony is to be believed, it can only mean that, yes. Mr. Viggle? Sir! When he spotted Mr. Sogi with his document in his cell, the precise words were as follows. It was a weapon of sorts. His trump card. Alright then, but what's on the paper? A last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. A last will and testament? If the conversation from the day goes Mr. Viggle says, then what we know now completely changes the meaning of what Mr. Sogi said. You really think Mr. Viggle did indeed see the convict with a will? But it wasn't that of Genshin Sogi. It was Clint Van Testament, Lord Clint Van Zieks. No. What? Oh boy. Oh yeah, we're in the end stretch. This is madness. My brother's last will and testament. That would mean that he had chosen to die. That's what it would mean. Yes. No. Impossible. That is utterly out of the question. Lord Van Zieks. Clint was pursuing the professor. It consumed him day and night. Whatever happened, he would never have abandoned his investigation for its conclusion. Never. He wouldn't rest until the job was done, until the killer was caught. The idea that he would willingly accept his own death is obscene! And yet, you can be sure that he was writing his will moments before his death. That Ryunosuke came into possession of the document. So what would it will have contained? Clearly something that couldn't have been public under any circumstances whatsoever, because armed with the document, my father was able to negotiate injury for his life. It was something so damning that it prompted the powers to be enact a daring jailbreak plot. Yes, there could be no question it contained information of utmost secrecy. Information of the utmost secrecy. Ah! No, it couldn't be. I've heard more than enough. Pursuing this notion of phantom while nobody can assess having seen serves absolutely no purpose. Objection. Which, no, my lord, that's unacceptable. What did you say, counsel? The last will and testament that Ryunosuke had in his possession was that of Lord Clint Van Zeeks. All that testimony and evidence presented to the court has logically led to this possibility. We have a duty to pursue the line of reasoning of its conclusion. But with no possible means of knowing the contents of the document, there is no line of reasoning to pursue. A reason why Lord Clint Van Zeeks, a man of high noble standing, would have chosen death. Information so secret, people in the judiciary would have been willing to negotiate the jailbreak of a condemned killer. The only explanation that fits those facts is unthinkable truth that turns absolutely everything on its head. But it's just too hideous. Mr. Naruhodo, however difficult situation might become, you will work with client to pursue the truth. That's what you've resolved to enter the courtroom this morning, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Susanna. So hold your head high and keep soldiering on. Yes, you're right. It's a confession. 10 years ago, his final moments were Clint Van Zeeks left behind a will. A will that Ryunosuke was able to use as a weapon to negotiate his escape from prison. In all probability, the details of the will were related to Professor Case. The defense's last statement is mere conjecture. What are you getting at, man? Ryunosuke? Oh god. As soon as these words come out of my mouth, there's no going back. Oh, sweet god. I believe that the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeeks was, in fact, a confession. You can do this, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe that what Lord Clint Van Zeeks actually penned that day was a confession. A confession? Regarding the mass murderer known as the Professor and his true identity.
Objection!
God. Enough, counsel! What are you saying? Do you even realize? A confession about the true identity of the Professor? That would mean... Oh no. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Oh, Lord Van Zeeks, I appreciate this must be hard to take in. But it's the only explanation that fits. The killer that terrorized London a decade ago and became known as the Professor. The man believed to have murdered 5 members of the aristocracy. Holy shit, I said it once. Wasn't Ryunosuke at all. No, you can't be suggesting. It was in fact the man believed to have been the 5th victim. Lord Clint Van Zeeks himself. Oh no, I'm... Ah! Oh god. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's finally open. Is it? Pandora's box. I'm so sorry, dude. But it's the truth. Oh, I'm sorry. The great Van Zeeks family, they've been thoroughbreds of the British judiciary for years. And Lord Clint Van Zeeks, he was a paragon of justice in the capital. But he was actually a mass murderer? A perpetrator of atrocities of the vilest nature. If the general public ever found out, law and order in this country would be finished. I'm so sorry. My brother. Oh, it's too awful. Poor Lord Van Zeeks, I am so sorry, but it's the only explanation. I wonder though, did he never suspect? Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Barack Van Zieks is a brilliant prosecutor. Is it conceivable that he didn't realize what his older brother really was? Maybe he had his suspicions? Order! Order in the court! Lord Van Zieks. The professor made use of an enormous hound as his murder weapon. Tell me, did your brother own the dog? Yes, he did. Balmung. He was a well-known hunting dog. People called him a giant. I don't believe this. When my brother would go hunting in the forest or the grounds behind the house, he always took Balmung. After Clint's death, the creature passed away too, almost as if he were following his master. He was a magnificent hunting dog, worthy of the jewel-studded collar around his neck. A jewel-studded collar? That's right. Though, sadly, some years ago now, it was stolen by a thief who broke into the house one night. A jewel-studded collar, stolen by a thief. I think I know. We saw it before! So it happens that myself and my colleagues have come across this collar during our time in London. How could you? There was an old emblem attached to the collar too, made of pure gold. And it's bloodstained on it. It was topped with a small crown and bore an ornate capital letter B. What? An emblem bearing the initial B? Oh my, you know it? It's the insignia of the Baskerville family. What? The Baskerville? Why is that name coming up now? Baskerville is the family name of my late brother's widow. The pure gold emblem was an heirloom which Clint acquired upon their marriage. There can be no doubt then. The collar you've described as a Balmung's. The family's insignia of Lord Clint Van Ziek's widow? There was a considerable amount of blood on the collar when we saw it. Since we know the dog was used for hunting, it could have been from its quarry, of course. But it could have equally been from human prey. Oh, sweet God, so true then! Clint Van Zieks really was the professor? Impossible! These Japanese are making an object store of their own! So in fact, the person responsible for these murders of nobles and royals was a noble himself. And that threatened to be an enormous scandal that would irreparably destabilize British society. My father knew that, and was using it to negotiate his way out of the unjust charges brought against him. But at the very last hour, those he bargained with betrayed him, slaying him mercilessly in foreign soil. I'm so sorry. Well, can you deny it, Lord Strongheart? 10 years have passed. And still now, these 6 million inhabitants of our great capital rest easy believing that justice was done. That though his anonymity remains, the diabolical murder was caught and executed. Very well then. You may have the truth. Tell me then. Tell me what Clint really was. I'm so sorry. God damn it, dude. God. Lord Clint Van Zieks was too pure of heart. When he became a prosecutor and went in pursuit to the black roots of crime, he drove himself into a corner. He came to the uncomfortable realization that to fight the most fiendish of criminals requires one to become even more fiendish oneself. Clint. The 19th century was a truly miraculous 100 years for Great Britain, and indeed the whole world. New industry, new technology, and with the birth of the Metropolitan Police Service, new law and order. But these dazzling new developments meant even deeper shadows was cast on society. Water sullied by factories, air thick with noxious fumes and crime, growing daily to fill the darkness. Lord Clint Van Zieks made it his mission to combat the darkness. But as time went on, it slowly ate his soul, until eventually He was consumed. Okay, so also fun facts that in the original Japanese script, straight up, like this case has like literally like the darkness, like I'm not even kidding, like the whole darkness shit is so overused. Seriously, play the before the official translation, play the fan translation of this case, and you'll realize how much of like the whole darkness there is in the original script. Like goddamn, so much darkness. Like they overused the word darkness to hell in that one. Like the darkness. It's like Kingdom Hearts. It's like Kingdom Hearts with that shit. Like, oh, it's the darkness. It's the darkness. You know, like the darkness. It's the darkness of the capital. Darkness of everything. They toned it down here, but obviously it was heavily used in Japanese in the original Japanese script of the original game. He was consumed in the original version. It's ironic, really, and somewhat surprising, that the truth had once again been unearthed by a Japanese. Once again? What do you mean? 10 years ago, your father, Genshin Isogi, turned up under my office one night. The professor! Yes, beyond all shadow of a doubt. You must issue a warrant to search his home at once. Don't be absurd. The man comes from one of our country's most illustrious families, the paragon of justice here in the capital. Yes, that's the point! That's why none of your British can see it! He's using his noble status as diversion whilst he commits those atrocious crimes behind the scenes. Do you have evidence? Nothing definitive as of yet, but he keeps an enormous savage hound in the estate. We need full support usually for this. We're up against a member of the fucked it up again. So a large family estate has a fierce guard dog. You should know that's commonplace here in Britain. I'm sorry, but I can't possibly put Scotland Yard onto this base tedious accusation of this student. So I turned down Isogi's plea, and as a result, he took it upon himself to visit the Van Zeek's mansion on his own. You can really imagine what happened between the two men. Though we know the outcome, of course. Brooklyn Van Zeek's perished. I don't believe this. So, in actual fact, Kazuma-sama's father did kill him. He made the late Lord Van Zeeks meet the same fate. He put a permanent end to the professor killings by taking the drastic measure of ending the perpetrator's life. As soon as I hurried to the mansion. When I arrived, it was easy to grasp what had happened. And what about the will? Isogi must have already taken it. Nothing short of a nature for him to see. We had no idea the existence of such document at the time. Holy shit. I was the only person who knew of the true identity of the professor. So, I resolved to keep it a secret, and to guard the secret of the bitter end. So you're admitting to it? That you were behind it all? It was you, then, who pinned the crimes on my father. Oh, goodness. I did what needed to be done to protect the law and order of the British Empire. Even if that meant employing an unforgivable ruse. Then it was you who raised the fabricated evidence. I ordered the detective to take care of it, whilst keeping the truth from him, naturally. Gregson? It was Gregson. Obviously, he opposed me at first. Yeah, obviously. He wants integrity. Are you off your rocker? We can't do something like that! There's no question that it was Isogi who murdered Lord Van Zeeks. The house staff made statements that they saw the man running from the mansion that night. Yes, well, I have no doubt it was a Japanese fella. But we've got to try to come conclusive evidence against the man. And worse than yet, he doesn't keep a dog, so we're short of murder weapon to boot. And we're short on time, Gregson. We must pay this to man's rampage for the good of the country. So we'll use whatever means necessary. Do I make myself clear, detective? Blimey. God damn. So that night, 10 years ago, when I was attacked by those thugs in the back streets, and Genshin's ring was taken, that was him, was it? That was Gregson and some hired help? Then the detective handed the stolen ring to Dr. Wilson, who feigned his discovery from the victim's stomach during the autopsy. And in the light of that decisive evidence, Mr. Sogi was found guilty of the charges brought against him. However, behind the scenes, he had actually already struck a deal with his accusers, in which he agreed to silently accept the charges. But I just don't believe that part. As far as I knew the man, my father despised such underhanded dealings. It wasn't extremely easy to make him comply. You see, he had only one crippling weakness. What weakness? Isn't it obvious? You, Kazuma Sogi. Me? Perhaps you have no desire to return to your homeland, Asogi? What? Though I hear you have a 14-year-old son. He actually is 8 years old. Agreed to cooperate and accept your guilt without contention. And you will see Japan and your son again. You scoundrel! Whether you choose wisely or not, it will be closed trial by order of Her Majesty. So whatever rash claims you might make in court, we'll have no trouble in stifling them. There's only one outcome for you, Asogi. The gallows. Don't forget that I still have a weapon at my disposal. A document revealing a truth that I know you're desperate to keep hidden. Yes, I hadn't escaped my mind, which is the only reason I'm willing to bargain with you. I only want to protect this country's law and order. No, you are not. You understand? Holy shit. So, what's it to be, Asogi? Kazuma. Aw, dude. He did it for me. And as told him at the time, my motive was simply to protect Britain from damage truth would do. Well, to protect this country's law and order at any cost. Oh, that smirk on your face. Get that fucking smirk off your face, you piece of shit. I swear to God. That is not...
Objection!
I've never dared let myself even consider this possibility until now. Oh, salukuko. But in the light of all of this treachery, I have to ask. The mastermind behind the Reaper of the Bailey. Was it you, Lord Male Strongheart? It was him. A rather brilliant idea, wouldn't you say, Lord Barack Van Six? That spirit of your late brother, the paragon of justice, should return to wreak justice of her sibling. Could there be any more appetizing tale for London's masses, I ask you? What? What brazen? I knew that you didn't play the part to perfection, but your role really wasn't that of some embodiment of death. No, you were London's guardian angel. And an angel with bloody hands? I think not. Those who had cooperated with me already were too happy to participate in my plan. Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson. My minions worked tirelessly to ensure that the finger of guilt could never come to rest on you. It's all thanks to them that you were scaled as the demigod of the Reaper became. But Dr. Wilson left Britain 4 years ago when he was invited to work in Japan. That's right. So I had to employ the services of his young protege after all. Dr. Courtney Syfe. Dr. Syfe. So what with the execution of the professor and the subsequent reign of the Reaper of the Bailey, I successfully safeguarded law and order in our mighty capital for the past decade. Holy shit. That is everything. Why would you explain everything? Okay, I guess you really wanted to tell everyone. Alright, good. My lords, ladies, and gentlemen, I do hereby confess it was I who started the concept of the Reaper. However, let me say in my defense, oh my fuck, it was all for the preservation of law and order across the entire empire. Lord Strongheart did it? An unforgivable collection of crimes, but still, all those who died at the Reaper's hand were brought into the core anyway. It was all for the aid of keeping London safe. There is no one left now to reveal the precise truth of what happened 10 years ago, except for you. Therefore, this trial can go no further. Now, I would like to entreat all those present Beyond these four walls, nobody need know the truth. Even Her Majesty must be protected from this. I trust you all appreciate the importance of my request. It is, of course, for good of the country. No, it's not! That's bullshit. It's for your good, not for them. Can he do this? Can the trial really end now? I have one last question. For the accused, Lord Van Zieks. What? Of course, I know you're a highly accomplished prosecutor. So I find it hard to believe that you didn't have any doubts at all. That you never suspected your older brother. Yes, the same thought occurred to me. It was only once, but yes, I couldn't say that I never had my doubts. My brother's sense of justice was extremely strong, perhaps too strong, I've observed. At the time, there were members of the aristocracy who were bleeding the country dry for their own gain. And since they were nobles, they were untouchable. For my brother, it was source of great turmoil. And coincidentally, at the same time, the professor began his terrifying reign. During the time of the professor killings, my brother did not appear to be himself. And that made you suspect? Yes. But it was only once, not more. Only once? Really? Clint wasn't the culprit. That was my conclusion at the time. And yet I still believe that now. Do you have any evidence to support the idea? The third victim was the Lord Chief Justice at the time. Oh, if he was who had recognized my brother's potential and trained him as prosecutor. No matter what the circumstances, it's unthinkable that my brother could have killed his friend and mentor. This is true. I mean, who would do that? Unless they were, you know. That will do. Neither Clint Van Zieks nor Genshin Isogi still walk this earth. However much we debate this matter now, we cannot hope to reach a conclusion. But there are two extant pieces of evidence from the time. The Wu Bangon ring that acted as incriminating evidence that condemned Genshin Isogi, and the 3-page last will and testament penned in black ink and left behind by the man. 3-page? Wait, isn't there 2? That's contradiction right there. The wretched truth of what happened is exactly as I have explained. Oh, sweet Jesus. Later today, I will present myself to the Ministry of Justice for whatever sanction will deem appropriate. That is all. Court is adjourned. No, it's not! It ain't! Objection! It ain't adjourned until it is adjourned! It's not over yet! Thank you, Kazuma. Me? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have made this 11th hour discovery. What discovery? My lord, I'm afraid I must insist the trial continues. I beg your pardon. As the court reminded today, we must stop at nothing to cover the whole truth. And that end, one particular statement made somebody in his courtroom moments ago revealed a very subtle contradiction. What contradiction? But all I did was accuse one simple question. Well, it began with Lord Van Zieks' recollection of his brother, but Lord Strongheart didn't permit the defendant to speak at length. So hold on, let me go ahead and check Karuma. So, Karuma's gonna be important. You'll see why I'm gonna do this. I'm really pointed at the point of drawn the further useful conclusions here, so one of them is a contradiction. Not yet, but we'll do it a bit later, not yet. One of them definitely just said something contradictory. Definitely not who. It was Lord Strongheart. Because he said it's a 3-page testament, even though it was only 2. It was Lord Strong. He knows it's a 3rd page. I'm sure of it. Something was slightly off. Come on, just get back to his words. Find the problem. Neither Clint Van Zieks nor Genshin Isogi still walk on this earth. However much we debate this matter, we cannot hope there's a conclusion. There are only 2 exact pieces of evidence from this time. The ring, and the 3-page last will and testament. There you go. 3-page. Lord Strongheart, would you care to explain? Explain what, counsel? Among the statements you made just a few moments ago, something you said was inconsistent with certain piece of evidence we have. The Isogi papers, inconsistent, and with inconsistency remains. The defense has right to pursue explanation. Ryunosuke, what? Let me warn you about the statements you're making, counsel. They're no longer proof fatal. You claim the words contradiction. Passive evidence is these sucky papers. Let me find them real quick. Go. Quick. Oh my god, we have 4-page fucking holy shit. Alright, sucky papers.
Take that!
But here, what was left will be held by Mr. Sogi. The 2-paged will. What? Yet moments ago, your precise words were the 3-page last will and testament. Could it be that originally there was a 3rd page? For a moment, I thought perhaps you identified something worthwhile, but it's merely a trifle, I see. A trifle? Governor Caden? Hey, what can I do for you, sir? Sir, you were present when the Japanese man penned his last will and testament. Hey, I was there for sure. I remember the black squatters this day. And I'm quite sorry, my lord. There was a 3rd page at the time. What? Alright, the first 2 pages were actual will, huh? If I mind correctly, the 3rd was a message to his lad back in Japan. For legal purposes, we required only his will. And we wouldn't have wanted any uncomfortable words about Britain getting back to Japan, eh? Oh, you guys are pussies. It was decided that the 3rd page did not be sent. That's some bullshit right there, dude. Send it. How dare you make that decision? I had the right to know what it said, to hear my father's final words to me. The court was no place for sentimentality, counsel. As it happens, I have the 3rd page. So document with me right here. Luck is on our side. My father's message? It will be given to you at the end of the proceedings. It'll be too late, Mr. Alzheimer's, it says now. Decide a thing, you have had a clue. Well, my lord, the defense calls for Getsu's for his son to be read out loud before the court now. Your request is denied. Your admittedly mundane words convey no consequence. Read it. Read it. The prosecution agrees. The court should know the content of the message. Every possible piece of evidence must be thoroughly examined. Very well then, Governor Caden. You will read the 3rd page of documentation here. Yes, sir! Only I should point out, me lord, I don't know Japanese, that I cannot read any Wyrm language. The beautiful handwriting. Shame on you, Barry. Hey! Hi. Gotta be assistants here. I would be happy to translate the words into English for the court. Father! You're still here, are you, Dr. Mikotoba? Naturally. I consider myself a beneficiary, albeit a lowly one. Perhaps I'll quietly withdraw after I translated Genshin's message. Your cooperation is much appreciated. Kazuma, the truth is shrouded in darkness, a darkness only your clan's great sword can pierce. Mighty Karuma, twist thy head and watch them fall, all 5 mortal foes. That's the end of the message, you would see. A haiku poem, twist thy head. Father, what is Karuma? The name of the Sogi clan's famous sword. The razor-sharp blade known to all, passed down for generations. It embodies the Japanese spirit. It's not known to me. Well, it's not known to me. It's a katana sword is submitted as evidence early in the proceedings. I'm only warned by the prosecution counsel when he confronted Inspector Gregson. So now, that is updated. All these prosecutions are beginning to try my patience. Jordan's, of course, long overdue. But hold on. Let's go ahead and check this baby out. The head is now interactable. Here we go. Mighty Karuma, twist thy head and watch them fall. All 5 mortal foes. That's the proper way to use the sword, isn't it? I should try to hurt my neck for this trouble. Mr. Naruhodo, I think I might make a suggestion. I think perhaps it doesn't work your head. Oh, let's just study the history of development katana some time ago. As I'm sure you're probably aware, the sword's head is part of the very end of the hilt. The writing is written in Japanese, but it's pronounced as Kashira, I believe. Kashira? So Mr. Sogi's words really means twist the butt of the hilt. You don't think? Ah! Oh! Look at the shit we found! Look what's inside it. Is that a tightly wound sheet of parchment? Okay, so it says... Okay, so I can read cursive. Let me see. I don't know if this is pure gibberish cursive, but let me read this. Okay, so I see, like... I see a few words in here. I see Clinton Van Zeek's in the bottom. That's what I do see. But the rest is, like... Again, it's a super long letter, but this is just, like, a part of it. I penned this, my last will and testament. Yeah, it says, I penned my last will and testament moments before my inevitable and willing death. This is it, isn't it? Mr. Naruhodo, look, the signature at the end! Clint Van Zeek's in that date 10 years ago on the fateful night. For 10 years, nobody knew. Last will and testament, Lord Clint Van Zeek's. Wait. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is unbelievable. We have the final piece of evidence that will make this all work out. The trump card. Boys. Also, by the way, if you actually do it afterwards, there's a little achievement that happens called, a Soki Clan Appreciator if you examine the head after finding crucial evidence. So if you find it. So his spy head, in which was Falk, so leave words. He certainly thought his hiding place too. It seems almost playful efforts. Wonder whether perhaps the duties of Soki Clan really call for such individuals protecting great secrets, you mean? Source of duties? Well, I could believe that. Kazuma conducts himself like someone who weighed his clan's long, noble history of shoulders. So yeah, you get that achievement if you do that. I already have the achievement, but if you do, there we go. So we got the will. I can't read it, but right now. But we'll give it once we have the time. It's pretty seems like we have been commenting puzzle will in the courtroom. However, despite it all, new information has come to light. What bullshit are you putting up here, bitch? In pursuit of justice, Lord Clint Van Zeek's tragically lost all sense of morality. Like you, when he murdered his former mentor, clearly he was already devoid of his normal faculties.
Objection!
That's complete bullshit right there. How dare you! I refuse to believe that of my brother. Too much time has passed. We cannot ever hope to know more than we do. Especially since the allegedly his pen and his final moments appears to have been lost forever. Yeah! Lord Strongheart, you appear to be in something of a hurry to wrap things up. I wonder why. We've heard you state time and time again during these proceedings that everything you did was in the interest of protecting British law and order. And I stand by that. Without the Reaper, we could not have achieved the reduction in crime the capital had seen. Bro, what about Inspector Gregson then? And Dr. Wilson. They were no criminals. You used them to achieve your ends, and then you had them killed. However you dress it up, there was nothing fair or just about that. Lord Strongheart, what exactly is that you're hiding? Dr. Mikotoba, were you not to quietly withdraw after the translation of your former associate's will? In this courtroom, no argument carries weight unless it's supported by evidence. And it would seem that the defense has no more evidence to present. In which case, I hereby order all this courtroom's proceedings to be struck from the record. No! This is my last chance. Mr. Naruhodo, I have it right here, boys. I have present some decisive evidence now, it's all over, but can I? Present evidence! Wait, my lord! As it happens, the defense does have evidence to present. What? Don't be absurd! There's nothing to problems remaining at the time!
Objection!
It's high time you realize something, my lord. This gentleman has an uncanny habit of producing evidence at the final hour. That had escaped everyone else's attention. Nonsense. Oh, I do, baby. Oh, I do. What is it, Ryunosuke? What do you have? I dare say. The final, decisive piece of evidence. That will reveal the whole truth of his rotten tale. How can you... Decisive? Well, it would appear that there's no escaping it now, my lord. Oh, but be it then. Present whatever you think you have can be settled as decadal enigma, if you're capable. I have it. What exactly is the evidence that the defense claims to be so decisive? Clint Van Zeek says, take that! There's a single piece of evidence that can clarify what really happened 10 years ago. The last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeek's. Ha! A wonderful, astute observation, I'm sure. But in case it had escaped your notice, the document was lost long ago. That's right, it was. Only. I have it right here. Discovered just moments ago. Holy shit. Well, we found it. Impossible. That can't be. Everything that's happened comes back to this will. This document. It's the key that will unlock the entire mystery. Boys. Whoa, we found it! My brother's last will and testament. Where did you find that? In this? It was rolled up inside this. Inside Karuma? The ultimate weapon Ryunosuke obtained has lain undisturbed at the hilt of the sword all these years, just waiting for the right time to emerge and reveal the truth. The signature and seal certainly look official. My God, it's true. This is my brother's handwriting. There can be no mistake. Oh, boys, we did it. I forbid the consent document from being read out. Do you hear me? I strictly forbid it. Oh, we're gonna read it. But we're gonna read the shit. You can't do that, my lord. This document could explain everything. That document could literally destroy the meaning of justice in this country. Your meaning, at least. I demand that you hand it to me at once, because you're gonna destroy it? Why? What are you gonna try to hide? Could it be that you already know what's written in this page? Ah! What are you implying? The court's adjourned for immediate effect. Clear the courtroom. Boom! Do that, my lord, and you'll suffer a fatal blow as Lord Chief Justice. I beg your pardon. Forcibly ending a trial without good reason? And not any trial. A closed trial by order of Her Majesty the Queen? To defy the monarch's will is treason. Oh, this feels so good, dude. This feels so good. Holy shit. Lord Cliff Van Six really did pen a will that day. Exactly as the young Japanese man said. Dude, read it out loud now. We have right to hear what it says in that will. A right and a duty. Well, my lord. It would rather appear as though proceedings aren't going to be quite as you hoped. You fools! Go ahead, Ryunosuke. Read it. The prosecution gives it full support. All right. Let me get a new voice out. Maybe we'll do the Van Zieg's voice with a bit of a twist, but I'm gonna try to figure something out. All right. Very well then. No! For God's sake! No! Well, guess what? We're gonna read it. All right. Let's go. I penned this last will and testament. The final one was before my inevitable will and death. The hour is 11 p.m., and I sit in my writing desk in my office. My good friend Asogi stands at my shoulder. He has expressed his intent to invoke the dying ritual of the duel, that I may depart this world with honor. An honor of which I am utterly undeserving. The Japanese are a truly merciful people. Look at Genshin and his like wind. He has the inner wind too. It's a family thing. The wind. I, Clint Van Zieg's Lord of the Manor of Van Zieg's estate, hereby confess to the following. I am the killer who has come to be known in society as the Professor, guilty of 4 counts of murder. I will not hear discourse the corruption of... let me read it again. I will not hear discourse the corruption of rifle among the discourteous... I lost my reading comprehension for a bit. Oh my god. I was doing good. I fucked it up again. I will not hear discourse the corruption rife among the aristocracy, which is to me as one of them so apparent. I fucked it up. However, 6 months ago, I took the life of a member of the House of Lords at the heart of the depravity. A demon who would habitually sacrifice the common man to further his own interest, abusing his position of power. The law is impotent against such vile adversaries. Only a fellow demon can rid society of this menace. I can read. That demon was my quarry, upon whom I willingly set my great hound. But though I am a hunter of some experience, I am a poor felon, it seems. I can't read for shit. My guilt was at once recognized by another, and I became subject to his extortion. He held over me the threat of exposing my wicked crime to my beloved wife and brother. Under that threat, I have done this man's bidding for months now, killing those he demanded I kill. As I watched my former mentor perish before my eyes at the jaws of the hound I commanded, I realized that I had lost the last shred of decency within me and sank to the level of a wild beast. There's no path back to the light. Be it I or my dear friend Asogi who dies this night, I am eternally damned. To my extortioner, male Strongheart, may you feel the jaws of the beast at your throat every time you swallow. God damn, I love that ending line. Oh, you smirky little bitch. Come back here. So now we know. Yes, Clint Van Zieks was a murderer. But somebody was directing him and naming his victims. His extortioner, Lord Male Strongheart. It was you! Lord Strongheart, a moment ago, you claimed that what the court just heard could destroy justice in this country. But you weren't trying to protect justice at all. All you were trying to do was conceal the secret of your true nature and the countless lives you sacrificed up till now. It just didn't make sense to me that the third victim, the former Lord Chief Justice, was my brother's benefactor and a man of lofty principles. As I said, Clint had no possible reason to kill that man. But you said, you did, didn't you, Lord Strongheart, to eliminate the man who stood between you and the office you set your sights upon. So you used your old hunting dog, Lord Clint Van Zieks, to take him down. It had to be done. London's unsavory shadows are deep, and the arm of the law fails to reach its depths. Crime must be cut off to the roots, but the Lord Chief Justice at the time couldn't see that. He was weak. Lofty principles, you say, tantamount to cowardice if you ask me. Which is why I took this place, in order to fight the crime he was allowing to spread like wildfire. By murdering the man? So, which is extreme. The Reaper, the Professor, the name makes no difference. As I've explained countless times already, it was all done for the furtherance of law and order in London. Are you going to legitimize the murder of my father now too? Ah, Genshin Asogi. Well, that was unfortunate. I had fully intended to send him back to Japan, as we'd agreed. I don't believe you! It was you, wasn't it? You killed him! No, it wasn't me who took your father's life. Then who? On the night following his mock execution, I went to Logan Cemetery at 3 in the morning with Jigoku. Judge Jigoku? There had been a collaborator on the Japanese side to manage Asogi's treatment after his reparation. Jigoku had a fierce ambition, and made him easy to manipulate. Oh no. 10 years ago, after he stood trial for the destruction of the witness stand, I had words with him. When I told him the position of Minister of Foreign Affairs could be his, he couldn't agree fast enough. Shashiro, you fool. As you know, Asogi escaped the prison in a closed casket that was completely interred. We attempted to dig him out of his grave before he ran out of air. But sadly, all did not go as planned. Enoch Drebber. There was an unexpected visitor to the cemetery with his own ideas about digging up graves. A man who witnessed what nobody was supposed to see. Enoch Drebber. Of course, I knew grave robbers frequented London cemeteries. But that grave on that particular night... Blast! If people find out the convict wasn't really executed, the scandal will rock the very foundations of the Empire. Then what do we do? Shoot him, Mr. Jigoku! Shoot Asogi at once! He can't live now this has happened. He has to go! What are you talking about? We had an agreement! You promised him he could return to Japan! Everything had changed now. If the truth got out because of this, both of us would be finished. Forever. Come on, Jigoku! Do it! Pull the trigger! Shoot! Jigoku shot Asogi from the shadows. The grave robber was so close, the blood sprayed over his coat and the camera. He fled as fast as his legs would carry him. Then Jigoku and I put Asogi's body back in the grave from which he just emerged. Oh my god. When I later learned of the waxwork model's presence at the scene as well, I made her swear to two things: never to remove the professor's mask, and never to speak of the events of that night. And with that, the secret was buried along with Sogi's corpse. So, now you know what really happened in Logate Cemetery that night. It was Jigoku, your Japanese acquaintance, who killed Miss Sogi in the end, you see. He claimed to be the man's friend, but when push comes to shove, he pulled the trigger. Just before Mr. Jigoku left the courtroom earlier, he said the assassin exchange proposal was a demand from the British counterpart, not a request. So you coerced him too, using what happened in the graveyard? But at the time, Jigoku was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, negotiating international treaties with Britain. You can imagine what would happen if it came to light that he murdered a compatriot 10 years earlier. He would have lost everything. I merely reminded him of that. How do you sleep at night? These past 10 years, I've fought tirelessly with the darker recesses of London's criminal underworld, and I've used whatever means necessary to ensure that justice prevails and law and order reigns supreme. That couldn't be further from the truth. The fact is, you haven't fought crime at all. Dare you?
Hey, Paola's dad.
Papi, shut up!
Paola's dad is here.
Papi, shut up!
Hi.
Oh my
This is
god.
Paola's dad.
Papi, shut up, please.
¿Dónde está la-
The table's in the closet. Oh, oh my god, Papi.
This is Paola's
Stop! Stop! It's unavoidable. It's the only way to protect our justice and public order.
That's Paola's mom. Hi, this is Paola's
Stop!
family.
God damn.
Coge a uno de ellos. Espérate, vengan que lo voy a traer a comer.
Oh my god. Bye. Close the door. Shut up, Papi. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. But do you have any idea? Really, Papi? Stop! God damn it. Your phone. Here, have it. Thank God.
Paola's dad.
Hey, close the door. Hey, close it. God damn it. Sorry about that. We have fight fire with fire. Of course, can function without a reaper. You can see it because of the country. This has been a struggle. So I left this. So if you can pause a little if you wanted to read some of the dialogue yourself. But sorry about that. I tried to keep it on for a little bit so you guys could read it. I'm a fast reader, so you can pause. You can pause reading some moments. You can just pause it. Sorry about that. Sorry. You've done nothing. Lord Van Zixu worked tirelessly and justly accord whilst enduring the disgrace of the Reaper name. Oh, now you? Inspector Gregson, fraught with anger for having solely his hands to desire to do the right thing. Not to mention Genshin Isogi, who risked his life going to pursue the truth he tried to hide. No, the dark recesses of London's underworld were largely filled by you. You little when will you get through your thick skulls? This is all for clean country? I'm tired of that excuse. You've consistently twisted the truth and bargaining power to make others do your bidding. Nothing more. People who willingly twist the truth and coerce others have no right to call themselves part of the judiciary. I strongly suggest you don't ever talk of justice again. Ah! Ah! Oh, God. Quesadillas right here, boys. God damn. That puta was my mom, by the way. Oh, it's the Damon Git! Well, well, well. Dear me, my good fellows. Dear me. Well, deserved round of applause, I think. Quite a marvelous performance. Oh, he's doing the Damon Git. What are you talking about? Just the lively grave expressions, the beautifully pronounced Queen's English. Really? Our friends from the Far East are quite the picture of industriousness. You fraud. Keep your mockery. Please, don't misunderstand. It really is exactly as you both said. What are you trying to say? I have occupied the dark recesses of London's underworld and, how did you put it? Done nothing. I confess it's a little embarrassing to have it pointed out quite so starkly, but yes, I really have done nothing, which means I could be indicted for nothing. No? Oh, let me see. So, where I was kind of right here. The acquittals of these wretched criminals. Yeah, it was like that. So yeah, if you guys read it, you read it. I'm sorry I couldn't read it because, well, you know. I may have done it for nothing, no. What?! It's true. Personally, I have committed no crime. That's true, but here's the thing. You were the mastermind. Masterminds can be indicted as well. So basically, you'll be charged as well. Again, the people who actually did the dirty work still get charged, but the people who masterminded are also just as likely. I've been surrounded by fools who acted very rashly indeed. You can't get away with that! You constantly preyed on people's weaknesses! And what? Threatened them? Are you sure it wasn't just bargaining? I would like to address all the good lords, ladies and gentlemen of the judiciary here present. You all know these dark recesses are great capital, and deep down I believe you also know that to fight those who dwell there requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. So let me appeal to your good sense now. Consider the situation with me. If this catalog of horrifying revelations were to become common knowledge among the 6 million inhabitants of London, what might happen? Oh no, yeah, that'll be bad. To learn that infamous murderer of royals and nobles was a suspected member of the himself, the evidence is fabricated in the scapegoat trial amid secret negotiations with prosecutors that affects a jailbreak, that the Reaper of the Bailey was an organized group of assassins managed by Scotland Yard inspector. And finally, that it was all masterminded by the Lord Chief Justice himself. If the general public felt Britain knew the truth, all faith in the police and the prosecutor's office would be completely lost, without a doubt. Public order in the capital would completely break down and be cast back to the lawless days of last century. Precisely as it was 100 years ago, when we attend the population with criminals. There's a comprehensive public policing force, a comprehensive set of laws. And if we want to continue to protect this new era of law and order, I say again, we must at times occupy the darkness ourselves. Oh god, we successfully identified and apprehended the man responsible for taking Inspector Gregson's life. That is all that was expected in this trial. All these other matters have been discussed. We'll be limited from the minutes of these proceedings to be interested in preserving law and order. And protect Her Majesty the Queen, of course. What? My lords, ladies and gentlemen, what say you? He has a point. Come on! And things Lord Strongheart has done are quite unforgivable. Oh my god, you guys are so stupid. Holy shit. On the other hand, you guys think something law and order the capital? Fuck off, dude. The Knight of the Threat of the Reaper over the years has done wonders for crimes, right? And by fair means or foul, that's all thanks to Lord Strongheart. What else we got? Are you hearing this? This is Will the British Judiciary? For your rousing response, friends, I express my heartfelt gratitude. Therefore, in accordance with the overwhelming wishes of the court, the record shall be written. No! Oh my god, Miss Dudo. You have respect the man's ability to turn a situation in his favor. That's true. Your Strongheart really is a master of manipulation. Holy shit. With quickly proving his guilt, yet still manages to evade justice. I just don't know what we can do. Ryunosuke. It looks like the trial's really going to come to an end with some options, I think. There is really one more path with me. Use evidence. I have an idea. Yes, I do. The only thing that carries anyone's court is art evidence. But Mr. Naruhodo! What evidence is there to stage the trial? I have an idea. I don't know when it comes to it, but if there's anything in particular item evidence, it's...
Take that!
Oh my, yes! Mr. Sean's asking if he could do it earlier. I expose all Lord Strongheart's wrongdoing now. Oh, this is a crazy shit though, by the way, you guys. Oh my god. I have known that Mr. Sean's already deduced exactly the truth from Furl. He knew. So I think it must be time for the great detective to take the center stage. Don't you? Yes, absolutely. Let's take the hair by the ears then. And heave! Alright, here goes. Heave! Oh, yeah, bellows was revenge every time. A gentle tug will suffice. Mr. Sholmes, you're looking quite the wrong direction, Mr. Naruhodo, because I'm right over here. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo he's... Oh, God. Oh, my God. I wasn't expecting you back, Sholmes. I'm delighted to be here again, Lord Strongheart. What? What is the meaning of this? Oh my god. Bailiff, seize him! Put the man in irons! This is close to court. You've been warned once already, man! What the? We can't get the more living, my lord! we just go right through him! I'm afraid your efforts are wasted. The great detective you see before you is composed entirely of light and shadow. An image, if you will. Look at him dance though, yo! Mr. Hannah must congratulate you on deductions. Oh, thank you. Mr. Schultz, what on earth is... You're familiar with the invention known as the telephone. How the fuck did he make a hologram in the early 1900s? Excuse me. A hologram. Well, yes, I hear that some public telephones have been installed recently in Tokyo. After a particular voice is converted to a signal. You're able to signal transmitted to another place. Yeah, but like how? Light sounds transmitted, so you can not give images to the company. I'm not used. And that is some modest experimentation developed such a device especially for this very day. Modest experimentation, Mr. Sholmes. What a modest description. Holy shit! And someone incidentally, since I thought we might as well transmit the entire scene. Incidentally, they're just being modest. Do you mean to say you're not actually here, Sholmes? Ah, I knew my trusty partner would have no trouble grasping the concept. Except he's grasping at the stand, setting himself at your shock arrival. Poor father. I would have hoped he might have been forewarned, but if you leave my corner once! Get out, or I swear to you! Dear me, you on either hand, Lord Strongheart. Appear to have a very poor grasp of the situation. Allow me to reiterate, I am not here, which would, I hope, lead naturally no one asking, where exactly are you? The very question was awaiting. I'm present, enjoying the air in a rather splendid garden. A garden? Oh ho ho. Not just any garden, you understand. A garden in the Buckingham Palace. What? You can't be Buckingham Palace. What's Buckingham Palace, Mrs. Sato? Oh my god, I've never heard of it. Do you ever read the news, Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Sholmes. Is Edith with you there? Ah, well no. Edith is currently enjoying some tea. With Her Majesty. Her Majesty! Oh my god. God damn. Not saying Your Majesty, you understand. Her Majesty, the Queen of the British Empire. What? What?! What is it all about? Buckingham Palace is Her Majesty's the Queen's residence in London, Mr. Naruhodo. Order! Order in the court! I demand immediate silence! Her Majesty the Queen? You can't be! I mean, no! This is some sort of unforgivable, distasteful trickery by a third-rate detective, that's all! Unforgivably distasteful trickery. What an apt description. A close court session attended by lead members of the judiciary, a rare event. I presume that Her Majesty would be a little more curious about the proceedings. So, I decided to show her. Everything from start to finish! So basically, He live streamed the entire thing for the Queen. So basically, a live stream. So it's basically just a live stream. He just went, okay, all right, hey, Majesty, let me live stream this entire thing for you. What's live streaming? Oh, you'll see what this beautiful invention can do. It's literally just a live stream. You showed her. Guess it never gets old. Indeed. By the dint of her luck, shows her melted cinematograph. You meddling! This is some kind of nightmare. Just as I appear to be standing before you, we're going to talk of this invention. No doubt you've inferred the reverse is also true. You don't mean? Her Majesty has seen and heard every moment of the proceedings. I assume there would be no objection. After all, every trial in this country is conducted under the auspices of Her Majesty, as you know. You! I confess, I'm quite impatient to hear Her Majesty's opinion about the unforgivable, distasteful trickery in which you've been engaged over the past 10 years. No! I was merely... Hi! Oh, I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. Thinking I had so much to talk about. Edie's! There you are! Hi. In fact, I have a little message from Her Majesty. A message? Oh my god. Well then, if everyone is sitting comfortably... Forthwith, with immediate effect, all authority previously afforded to male Strongheart is hereby revoked forevermore. Furthermore, he will be prosecuted for the crimes against his court country in a public trial by jury in the coming day. Ooh, a karma bitch. So it seems that Her Majesty doesn't believe me to fight fire with fire at all, then. Looks like it. Justice in this country needn't be administered from the shadows at all. Male Strongheart, the darkness you fostered to conceal your despicable actions the last 10 years is a thing of the past now. After today, your brand of law and order has no future because no longer are the Lord Chief Justice. In the eyes of the law and Her Majesty the Queen, you are nothing but a criminal. Oh, by the way, this is gonna be a breakdown. Holy shit, it's crazy, dude. Adjourned! This court is adjourned! Oh no, the unicorn! Oh, my unicorn. And, oh no. I love this breakdown, dude. It's so over dramatic. Holy shit. Ah, look at this shit. It's crazy. Oh, sweet God. Oh, sweet Mother of God. Oh, no. God damn. That's a bit excessive. But oh my god, I really love it, dude. It's just so excessive. Woo! Lord Clint Van Zieks left a will in which he confessed to everything. When those words came out of Asaki's mouth, it deranged me completely. I knew I must do everything in my power to contain the situation. But I couldn't find the damn document. I searched his cell, but it wasn't there. Which perpetuated the jailbreak plot, I presume. What do you mean? The need to obtain the will was all-consuming. I was sure the fact so his escape, he would emerge with the will somewhere in his person. Oh, that makes so much more sense. But despite searching his limp body in the cemetery that night, I still lose me. Because it was in Kanama the entire time. It never even crossed my mind that it was concealed in the sword's hilt. What pains me now is that my brother left his role without a word to me. I'm so sorry, Lord Van Zieks. In point of fact, I think perhaps this isn't the case. Sorry? How can that be? There is more to his last will and testament. What? Alright. As I confront the prospect of my demise, I feel bitter regret for my younger brother. Barack, you have always looked up to me. Now, you follow my footsteps to become a prosecutor. It is my fervent wish that my unspeakable deeds should not hinder your advancement. I ask not for understanding, for none could understand my depravity. I ask only for forgiveness. Asogi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final two wishes. The first is that the document survives. The second is, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friends, I rest on my quill. Clint Van Zeeks. Clint. Oh, dude. Oh, Van Zeeks. Oh, I feel horrible for you, God. Dude. Oh! This is a long one. Holy shit. It's a long one, like I said. I was warning you how long it was. I was warning you guys. It's a long boy. Mel Strongheart. You colluded with Shigoku for a criminal plot and meant to span the oceans. And you cold-heartedly murdered all those who knew the truth about what happened 10 years ago. But why did you set about that now, a whole decade later? To ascend to the very peak. What? These last 10 years made me realize being the Lord Chief Justice wasn't enough, short of becoming Her Majesty's Attorney General. The highest you could get. I could have no real power to effect the changes needed in this country. He was only affecting London, not the whole country, which he wants. So he wants the whole country. And for the promotion, I needed to ensure no remnants of the past remained. How could you? I like everything to run smoothly, in the exact manner that I prescribed, like a well-oiled machine. And I was just a step away. And for your ambition to succeed, you didn't even bother to count the number of brilliant people you had killed. Ah, Mr. Reaper, you were not forgetting something? Such as... You've very much adopted your usual prosecutor-like demeanor in the proceedings now. But the reality of the situation is that you are the defendant in this trial. Ah! However, the presiding judge would appear to have fallen from the bench as it were. May I suggest, therefore, that we entrust the final adjudication to an old friend? My lord! As a member of the judiciary, I've been following the proceedings in this gallery. And I must say, I shan't ever forget the extraordinary battle between good and evil that I witnessed here today. Holy shit. The true judge is back! Santa Claus, the darkness that's blighted justice in the land these past 10 years has last been dispelled. Thanks, that's my part, to efforts of bright young star from the east. Defense counsel Naruhodo? Yes, my lord. On behalf of everyone present at Old Bailey, you're heartily thanks. You're too kind, my lord. The first time I faced you in court just under a year ago now. I had the faintest of imitations that if British justice so warped and twisted over its long history was finally known to no change. This might just be the man to do it. What? But at the time, I wouldn't allow myself to acknowledge that possibility. I couldn't overcome my hatred of the Japanese after the circumstances of my brother's death. Mr. Naruhodo. Holy shit. Allow me to apologize for my countless discourtesies on my part. You are a lawyer, boundless talent. Oh, Lord Van Zeeks! When I first arrived in Great Britain, I was literally a nobody, certainly not a lawyer. The truth is, my fortunes have entirely been made by the miraculous people I met. My best friend, Kazuma Asogi, who led me here to Britain in the first place. My loyal and ever-patient judicial assistant, Miss Susato, who helped me study to become a lawyer. The brilliant Lord Van Zeeks, who never failed to challenge his Nipponese rival. And not to mention the exceptional master of logic and reasoning who showed me the true art of deduction, Mr. Sholmes. Saving the best for last, Mr. Naruhodo. What a relief. I'm well aware of without all of these people's help and support, I wouldn't be where I am today. The truth is a guiding light that always leads to happiness. I lived by that principle for a long time now. But actually, it's not true. The truth can also cause great pain, sometimes even leave people on the brink of despair. And for that reason, there are those who feel the need to hide the truth, who do it instinctively even. But as soon as we allow our eyes to set on something other than the truth, the darkness takes hold. And from there it grows until eventually it makes us blind to the guiding light, the truth altogether. So that's why it's my belief that we must all resolve never to avert our eyes from what is just and true. So that we can continue to walk the straight and narrow path ahead. Oh, God. Holy shit, it was a long one. Well, I must excuse myself now. But before I go, Mr. Naruhodo, let me compliment you on your grand opus. What? About your beautifully composed case against Lord Strongheart, Her Majesty would have been able to act. Thanks to you and your fellows. The haunting undertones corrupting Britain's justice system is silenced. Thank you very much. Hey. So, until our paths cross again somewhere. Well then, it would appear that this long trial has finally come to an end. It is a long one, though. My apologies for any anxiety caused, my lord. I'm quite sure we shall meet again here in the courtroom before long, Prosecutor Barak Van Zieks. In conclusion of these proceedings, I hereby declare the defendant, Barak Van Zieks, not guilty! Hallelujah, we did it! What a long one. And there goes the scale. Scale's gone completely. Hallelujah, bros, we did it. Oh God, it's so long. Sprite. That is all. Court is adjourned. God damn. Dude. Oh, we still have the credits left. And yeah. And a little bit more, but that's it overall. It really is all over. But did I sacrifice too much? Mr. Naruhodo. I really must congratulate you. It was truly a splendid performance. Honestly, I couldn't be happier for you. Oh, thank you very much. But really, I couldn't have done it without you at my side. Do it all, Mrs. Seto. Oh. Your kind words mean so much to me. It really was a very splendid show, that, Naruhodo. I have to find you smiling from ear to ear, but you look rather glum. Well, of course I'm delighted about the verdict. But in exposing the truth, I'm afraid I've caused my client a great deal of pain. I'm really not sure that's what a lawyer ought to be doing. Oh well, in that case, I'm quite sure that we can see Lord Van Zieks' smiling face. Everything will seem better. Nope. Mrs. Seto, everything seems worse. He has the face like thunder. Oh dear, I really shouldn't have presumed. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Almost a year it's been now since I first encountered you here in this very courthouse. For you to have risen to the level of excellence you've demonstrated today. Well, it's quite remarkable. But I exposed the most unplantable truth you could ever imagine in court today. I feel as though I've robbed you of something you held so dear. What was it he said? To fight those who dwell in the darkness requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. But that was just the feeble excuse of a coward. Only those with the steadfast eye for the truth have what it takes to fight the dark forces of crime. You made fine work of establishing that fact in court today. Hi, boyos. Nice. Oh, well, thank you. Nice boyos. What magnanimous words. I'm quite sure that Kazuma-sama would have a smile on his face the very moment if we were here too. Kazuma. Nope! Mr. Sento. There's another face like thunder here. Oh my, really he was. Lord Van Zeeks. Allow me to congratulate you on your acquittal. Congratulate me. Or curse me. You failed to bring down the Reaper. I owe you an apology. No, it was I who should apologize. Your father, Genshin. If I had been stronger, then perhaps I made an unforgivable error of judgment. I can offer no excuse. I can offer no forgiveness. That said, I suppose you fought for justice and the truth. For that, at least, I can withhold respect. Salut, Kuko! Your words mean more to me than you could know. I will hold them dear. Kazuma-sama. I must say, there's one thing that's still bothering me. What's that? The will that Lord Clint Van Zeeks wrote before his duel with my father. Oh, that. The wind. So he's a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final 2 wishes. The first is this document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I confess to sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. Hold on, what the fuck did I just... Oh, there's my phone! My eternal gratitude to a Japanese friend, I rest my quill. I accidentally flew my phone across the room. Clint Van Zeeks. What could the second of his final wishes have been? That your father agreed to order, you mean? I think perhaps... Oh, I might be able to shed some light on that. What? Father? It was 10 years ago now, as you know. The day before the execution was scheduled. I went to the prison to say my farewells to Genshin. Why aren't you putting up the more of a fight, Genshin? If you only agreed to it, Shishino and I would gladly petition the government. We've been through this already. You don't need to worry about me. Anyway, Yujin, I have a favor to ask of you, something of great importance. You're one of my greatest friends, Genshin. Whatever it is, consider it done. I'm going to tell you an address. I need you to go there at once, in secret, and telling no one. You should find the lady in the gentry hiding there. A lady of the gentry? She's not in a good way. She's a child. The birth is imminent. As a medical man, I'd like you to attend to her. Please, you're her only hope. By any chance, is the child yours, Genshin? Don't be daft! It's a favor that I was asked of from a man I knew. It has died wish. My goodness! I swore to the man that I would help. That I would do whatever I could find his wife and his unborn child. But if something should happen to me, I need to ask you the same favor. The only person I knew that could truly rely on. What did you say? If something happened to you? Tomorrow night, you're going to be... You'd never know, though, do you? What life will bring. Alright, then. Tell me the address. I'll head there at once. What's she doing? No! Now, pardon? This is a favor I'm asking of you, and only you, Eugene. Right, I see. Very well. That very night, I caught a train from Paddington to Dratmore in Devon. I found an old house in the middle of nowhere. It was an old hunting hound and lay asleep in the grounds. The poor woman was on the floor at the back of a darkened room. She was in mortal danger. I broke her water to participate in labor before she reconferred her, but it was a tortuous birth. I did everything humanly possible for her and her child. And in the end, I was lucky enough to welcome a new life into the world. But tragically... Mario, shut the fuck up. Mario! My efforts to save my mother's life were in vain. I held a healthy newborn girl in the arms and wept for her, longer than I care to remember. Eventually, in something of a daze, I looked around the room. There was a precious little image. An old travel trunk caught my eye. Oh, it's the bee! It could have been well looked over the years. Made a top quality leather with fine stitching. But it was when I saw the emblem on the side of it, everything dropped into place. Baskerville. B for Baskerville. Baskerville? You mean the woman was the wife of Lord Clint Van Zeeks? That's right. The newborn was his daughter. But that makes no sense. Why on earth wouldn't Clint have entrusted a child to my care in that case? I was completely unaware to even have a daughter. I suppose he didn't really have any choice? What? Well, your brother said he confessed everything to his wife, so she must have been beside herself with worry for her child. If the true identity of the professor were to be public, the girl would be forever branded as the daughter of an infamous mass murderer. So the only solution was to distance the young girl from the Van Zeeks family as much as possible. I don't believe it. I imagine that his final hour, Lord Clint Van Zeeks made the obvious choice. He would have thought to himself, the Japanese man here is someone I can trust. I honored my promise to Genshin, of course. However, only a month later, I was summoned back to Japan. And without disclosing the parentage of the child, I couldn't have virtually taken it with me. Oh, how awful. That's a great friend. That's gonna be a father, right? Pappy, shut up!
Yes.
Pappy, shut up!
Yes, yes.
That be Mr. Sholmes, I presume? Yes. They took one look in the eyes and agreed to the spot. Mr. Sholmes, he has a heart of gold. Really, all that can be said is that for the child was to give her a name. Oh? When I come from Britain, I was trying to escape from the grief of losing my darling wife. So it was her name that I gave the little girl. Your wife's name, Professor Mikatova. In other words, the name of my mother? Ayame Mikatova. Oh, that's right, Ayame, or in English, Iris. Iris?
Como tu abuela.
I had no idea. So I don't know what's wrong. This little thing pinched me behind a trouser pocket hard. Ah, my dear fellows, can you hear me? Mr. Tom, is that you? Ow! Yes, yes, I can hear you. You see what excessive tugging can do? Let me listen to you. Mr. Shelves, we weren't able to thank you properly enough before. Simply marvelous. Your checkmate move was a stroke of genius. Indeed it was, wasn't it? I surpassed myself, I feel. It became apparent to me to stop the Lord Van's injustice would require such measures. Poppy, really? Rito, Susie! Oh, it is! Oh. Oh, I'm so pleased. What a wonderful outcome. Her Majesty Queen Vicky! So she found my special blend was delicious. Oh, I'm sure she did. After all, no one brings more delicious tea. Pappy, shut up! Pappy, shut up! Get out! Let's have a party to celebrate. And Mr. Reaper, you simply must come too. What? Pappy, shut up! What? I'm afraid I couldn't. The Reaper of the Bailey flustered by a 10-year-old girl. Again. No, really. Oh, Pooh. But I give you my word that I shall present myself in residence in the near future, express my character. Oh, how lovely. You promised now. I won't let you forget. Bye for now then. Alright, Dees, thank you for your help earlier. Oh, that was nothing. Just back home again. Ouch! Ugh, vital pitch goodbye, was it? Well, I think I ought to be leaving. Lord Van Zeeks, would you care to accompany me? Certainly. Mr. Naruhodo, allow me to once again express my deep gratitude to you. I believe you saved my life. More antiques! Yes. What are you intending to do now? Well, clearly, I shall have to resign from the prosecutor's office. Oh, no! I intend to publicize the full truth of the professor case. Once that's done, the Van Zieks family will be ostracized completely from London society. Surely not. So as soon as I'm free of my employment, I shall leave the capital. I see. Don't be a fool. Are those the actions of a man who once fears the mighty Reaper of the Bailey? I beg your pardon. For the past 10 years, you've endured a cinnamon and cast dark forces yourself. Now that you've finally been freed from the dispute, your battle is just beginning, surely. Well, I certainly never expected to hear those words from your lips. I waited a very long time to come to London. Now I'm properly here, I intend to learn all that I can. Anyway, goodbye for now. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kazuhaseki. It seems as though he's really matured somewhat. He's not the only one who's matured, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, I think we should make our way back to Baker Street. We must use it dinner tonight. We must. Wow, man, what a long trial it's been. Holy shit, dude. It was then that I came to an important decision about my future. Another pheasant. I'm home. Oh! Ah! About time you got here. We've been waiting ages, Odo. What are you doing with that colorful piece of history? It's about at the end. It's gotta go for a bag. I'll be fired over excitedly. But when you get in the fire, it smokes like Big Bang, ain't it? There's a girl on Fresno Street who could help you with that, I think. Right. I remember that. You don't have to reload that thing every time I speak. You really must hear this is quite an extraordinary thing. I assure you, I'll defy your explanations. Take down every detail now, Mikatoba. The world-famous detective revealing his partner was his day's venture aside, behold. Would you care to hazard a guess where you suppose the Phoenix runaway could conceal himself? Would you believe inside the trunk I found abandoned in the cabin? I would believe yes. I say, Mikatoba, and it's like a surprise. I wonder why that is. Maybe because I was there to see those Welshums. What? You were? Why not just did you say anything before? Not quite the side I was about to be, but still. It's hard to imagine except to see it. Hello, Mr. Sean's friend from Mikatoba has finally been back from Bailey. Oh, but not too soon. The feast prepared, my idiot Mrs. still waits. I must say, I haven't seen Sister looking so happy in a very long time. Ah, Runo, there you are. Dinner's on the table, everyone. Please come take a seat. Come to fill me boots. Boyos. What a long road. Goodness, it's really true, Gina. Yep, I'm losing my confidence club and going back to what I know best. It's dive design for me. You're really leaving the police force? But why, Ginny? Well, the boss ain't around no more, so... And anyway, no matter how hard I try, the Reaper ain't never gonna accept a dive return dick, is he? Well, people can change, you know. Oh yes, that reminds me. A rather thoughtful offer to relieve the bailiff of his now defunct piece of evidence. Eh? It's the inspector's pocket watch! And the crown's been real damaged! Theme song! That watch is a pride. Also, fun fact about this Gregson's theme. It's actually a remix of hey, you guys remember the first game? You guys remember Phoenix Wright Attorney, the first game investigation theme? You know, the first opening theme? Investigation opening. It's that song remixed. I'm not even kidding. Seriously. Listen to it carefully and you will see it. Like, I didn't even notice this until like recently, and I'm like, holy shit. I saw a comment in the video and I was like, I saw a comment in like a video about the song and I was like, where it is? And I listened to it like, holy shit, it is. I didn't notice. So I just thought I'd share that. For 10 years without fail, measured every second of man's remarkable career. But now, just stop. Someone needs to keep the memory of Inspector Gregson's career alive, after all, by taking the great responsibility of winding the watch every single day. Yes, someone of an equally fierce detective spirit. It's got to be me. There ain't no one else. quite right. I mean, after all, the boss was... Well, he was my boss. Yes, Judy. Yes, he was. Oh, yeah. And I made you a promise and all, didn't I, Iris? That I become a proper detective when they track you all down, you know, man. Oh, alright then. Decided I'll do it. I swear. I'll find your dad and bring him kicking and screaming. I'm not entirely sure that would be appropriate. Yes, I think, Gina, it might be best to... Well, I think I'd like you to forget that promise, Ginny. Eh? Iris? Well, obviously I've always wondered who my real daddy was. Of course I have. I want to know where I've come from. I thought it might tell me something about myself. But I've caused so much trouble trying to find out for so many people. Hurley, Runo, Professor Miki. Oh, no, not at all, my dear. Really? You will apologize to anyone? Well, anyway, I've decided to give up on it because I finally realized my daddy is the greatest in the world. I don't think it matters that his name or wherever he's from. Oh, don't you agree? Hurley? With every word he is. Thank you, Hurley. Thank you, Daddy. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. God damn it. I think Mikatoba. I'm gonna cry. Yes, Shulz. I think that I ought to express my gratitude to you. Oh. For 6 years, you and I solved many mysteries together. And during that time, I remember countless expressions of gratitude and good service. But a moment ago, I heard one most pleasing expression of gratitude them all. And I should never have experienced it if it were not for you. Your old softy Shulz. But I must confess, it's so weird off my mind to hear you say it. Well then, I think it calls for leaping by a liver soda, wouldn't you say? Oh well, food and Coca-Cola's the only problem. Maybe next week, Hurley. Are you sure this week is long enough for you? Aww. You should see him as a dad! Oh. Even amidst the most troubling case, even really the most shocking revelations. And turning in the evening to student rooms, there's always worth of happiness to be had. The home of the world's greatest detective. And my home, too. With my greatest family. Woohoo! This attic room has been my home and office for almost a year now. I've certainly had my own incredible experiences while I've lived here. But I think now, time's come. Time to bid this place farewell. Naruhodo. Oh, Professor! Are you alone? Didn't hear any sound from Cisco's room. Yes, Susato-san went out after dinner. She took a carriage. Something about an important matter she needed to take care of. Ah, I see. I wanted to thank you for what you did earlier. Oh! With Edie's, I mean. But the subject of her father came up. Lord Clint Van Zieg's. I made up my mind many years ago never to tell her who her real father was. So what was grieved of Genshin after all? Lord Clint Van Zieg's final wishes before he died, you mean? Yes, I've had to take up the rather drastic steps at times to protect that secret, you know. Calling Susato back to Japan 6 months ago, for example. That's why! When I read Saseki-san's report about his final days in London, my heart nearly stopped. He stumbled across a crooks of a terrible case, the dog's collar. Yeah, the Baskerville, Bellman's collar. The description of the Baskerville insignia left me no doubt. Baskerville. Of course, which was part of Edie's family history. You're sad to investigate his sickness. Sooner or later, you have made up the connection to Van Zieg's. And to make matters worse, Susato knew of the unpublished story as well. Hey! It's the story that Edie's have written based on my notes from the time. Hey! Ah yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Exactly. Mario! Shut up! Boy! It was a work of fiction, but based on the grim reality of the huge beast of a dog being used as a murder weapon. A dog from the Baskerville family emblem around its neck. Armed with those 2 clues, I feared you and Susato might arrive to the truth. So I sent to start having collapse to justify her leaving London and returning to Japan at once. All in halting his investigations here, she might have become tempting. Oh, I see. Something I've never understood is why Susato-san came across that manuscript in Japan, though. You know, Edie's the Hound of Baskerville story, I mean. Schultz sent it to me. This was before Susato left Japan. It was very troubled with what she had done about it, you see. I read about it carelessly left in my desk, which is where Susato came across it, of course. Ah! It was the only case Schultz and I ever pursued that didn't record meticulous detail. It was Stud discovered the young Edie's had pieced together so much of it in paltry amounts. The Schultz and I discussed the matter and decided to allow the story's publication. At this point, I returned to my manuscript by post to Schultz for safekeeping. So you did all that to stop Edith from finding out the truth about her father? That's right, because Schultz had told me how astute she'd become. However, having witnessed events in court today, I think my opinion has somewhat shifted. Oh? I think at some point in the future, the time will come for Edith to know the truth. That when it does, well, I believe it will be for the best. I think so too. Actually, Professor, I've wanted to talk to you about something too. Judging from the expression, I'd say you've come to a decision, have you? I have. Yes, I have. I hope you return to Japan. Are you quite sure? I really hear a substitute for Kazuma, but he's here in Britain now as originally intended. Locum student Naruhodo doesn't really have a right to say, I think. I see. Looking back now, when I first arrived here in February. My becoming a lawyer just seemed to be the way things turned out. With Kazuma, Susato side, Mr. Schultz gently pushed me in that direction. I spent the best part of my year immersed in this world, but always aware of the seed of doubt inside me. Until today. Standing in the courtroom earlier, all doubts vanished from my mind. I was totally focused. I was sure of my belief in my client, and I was sure I could see the trial through. And at the end of it, I finally realized no one else chose this path for me. I chose myself. The path of a defense lawyer. Yes, that's what I am now. That's what I'll be going back with to Japan as. And that's the path I'll be following for the rest of my life. Well, it sounds like you've made quite a resolution there. I have. Very well then. I must say, extremely welcome news. I shall make arrangements for your return first thing tomorrow, but don't imagine you'll depart for a few days. Now with these symposium being cancelled now, such a shame. Never mind. I'm sure there'll be another opportunity in the future. Well then, I'll bid you good night. Susato-san. I just wanted to let you know I'm back. Did you, hear what your father and I were discussing? I'm sorry, I did. Yes, I couldn't help it, but... Oh, how much did you hear? Well... From the part about Edie's real father, I think. In other words, from the beginning. So, you've made up your mind. You'll return to Japan, continue working as a defense lawyer? Ah, yes, I'm sorry, I really should have consulted you about it. I did want it earlier this evening, actually. But you're already gone out, so... Oh, no, that's quite alright. I've already knew that you were decided on Hosa. You did? Susato-san? Huh? Yes? I suppose this means it has to be farewell soon? I suppose. He'd be a great help for Kazuma going forward. I mean, I know he's barely a lawyer, but he's new to a new British court. He'll really serve benefit for the British citizens to decide. I'll do my very best. I wish I could say, but I just can't. I can't ask her to come with me after all. She was always supposed to be coming to Brandon's Kazuma's assistant. It's growing late. They should be going to sleep. Should be exhausted after today. Oh, yes, you're right. Before I retire, let me just say one more time. You really are quite splendid in court today. So if you ask me, anyone who thanks you is up to their local should be ashamed of themselves. Susato said. Thank you. I can't believe this day's finally come. You're really leaving then, Runo? I'm sorry. I'm afraid so, Edis. Thank you so much for everything. I don't know what I'll do without your wonderful cooking and delicious tea. Oh, I wish you weren't going, but you have to come back and visit. Say you will. Of course. I promise. Wow, it was a very brief reunion, but it was a pleasure to pursue a case of yoga after so long. For a while, at least, felt like old times. Yes, I suppose on reflection, there's something said before, having a little fun once in a while. I'll just go ahead and say goodbye to Professor Swell, I think. Alright, Edis, do that. Oh.
Susato-san.
Oh, voice acting. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn off the mic, and I will, turn up the volume a little. So, let me do that real quick.
I've just checked, Naruhodo-san. Your luggage is already on board. Such a beautiful morning. Perfect for embarking on a journey, isn't it?
Before I set off, I'd just like to say how thankful I am for everything you've done for me. And give my warmest regards to Kazuma, please.
Actually, I think you ought to give him your regards in person, don't you?
Sorry?
Ryunosuke.
Kazuma! What are you doing here?
Do you really think I'd miss my best friend's departure?
Thanks. To be honest, I'd been looking forward to our wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's capital, but,
Well, we'll have to save that for another time. Personally, I'm looking forward to facing you in court again.
Me too. But, we're both defense lawyers, so,
I'm going to become a prosecutor. I'll stay in Lord Van Zeek's tutelage for the time being, but before long, I intend to be just as formidable as the Reaper himself.
Oh, I see.
Actually, Ryunosuke, I have a favor to ask.
Name it.
I'd like you to take care of this for me for a while.
Karuma? Why?
Because I've seen it now. I've seen what's inside me, the demon that reared its ugly head that day. It was only for the briefest of moments. The last time I came face to face with that inspector. But it was unmistakable. I wanted to kill him. I've always known there are demons that live inside people. And now I know there is one in me. The fact that it very nearly consumed me is something I'll carry with me until the end of my days. While I devote my life to fighting those whose demons have got the better of them. As a prosecutor.
So, that's what you've resolved to do, is it?
Until I'm ready to face the demon within me. To slay it once and for all. I leave this in your care. If you'll take it.
Of course I will. I'll keep it by my side. Always. Until we meet again, then. You have your path to follow, and I have mine.
Naruhodo-san? The path you're going to follow from now on, I wonder if I might follow it at your side, and unless I'd be a burden.
What? I mean, I would very much like you to come with me. But aren't you...
You're so predictable, Ryunosuke.
I am?
Honestly, you never change at all. But that's what I like about you.
You mean you knew about this?
It was the evening after Lord Van Zeek's trial came to an end. She came to see me at the prosecutor's office.
Really? Oh, when I had that conversation with Professor Mikotoba.
So, you'd go with Ryunosuke back to Japan?
Yes. I know it's unfair of me to follow my own interests like this.
Coming here especially to tell me. You're a stickler for etiquette, aren't you? Well, what are his feelings?
We've never discussed it, of course, and Naruhodo-san has made no such suggestion. I worry that perhaps I'd be a burden to him.
He's just as much of a stickler for etiquette as you are. He'd never say anything before he was asked. But I'd feel happy knowing you were with him. Look out for him on my behalf, will you?
Of course.
Susato-san.
What do you think, Naruhodo-san?
With you by my side, no trial would seem too daunting. So if you're willing, I'd be honored if you'd come with me. Together we can take on the world.
I'm terribly incompetent, but if you'll have me, I'd be delighted.
Oh, no, not at all. If anyone's terribly incompetent, it's me.
Ah! What's wrong?
Your luggage, Susato-san. There's no time. The ship's going to set sail any minute now.
It's all right. There's no need to worry. As it happens, my luggage is already on board too.
It is?
Your fine judicial assistant has everything in hand as always, I see.
Bruno! Your ship's about to leave!
Time to go then. Look after yourself, Ryunosuke.
Kazuma, draw your sword. One day, when our paths cross, once more, we'll fight a duel of words across the courtroom. A day I eagerly await as a lawyer.
I've been waiting to hear you say that, partner.
Don't forget me then, Kazuma.
As if I could, Ryunosuke.
And Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. I'm very much indebted to you.
Indeed, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe you are.
I'll never forget all you've done for me during my time in London.
Quite. I should like to think you will remember your debt of gratitude. Especially when I visit you in your country. What? The truth is, although many are ignorant of the fact, the world is far smaller than most folk realize.
Well, I'd be delighted if you came to Japan one day.
Oh yes, would welcome you with open arms, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh, that sounds wonderful! I can't wait!
In that case, let us conclude that this is to be merely a brief parting, my dear fellows.
And that brings us to the end of my adventures in Great Britain. A peculiar twist of fate brought me halfway around the world those many months ago. But that was just the start of my journey. Who knows where fate will lead me next? Still, I'm confident this won't be my last meeting with the friends I've made in London. And when we're together again, no doubt the first words I'll hear will be,
Come, the game is afoot.
The ship, with our friends from the east, sailed steadily towards the distant horizon. But Sholmes' face was alight with joy. The times may change, but a steadfast friendship will remain true, Wilson. We have but to gently close our eyes, and we are with our companions once more.
So, I do just that. And when I do, I can hear his strong, familiar voice ring out.
objection!
Whew.
Until we meet again, Runo.
Okay, so that is Grace Attorney Resolve. Grace Attorney Chronicles, the entire sub-series of Grace Attorney. Done! Well, anyway, what a long road it's been. Holy shit. Alright, so anyway, like, damn, this trial's been long. Long trial! Whew. So yeah, it's been a long trial, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this, little let's play series, of like the duology, of the Grace Attorney duology. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to know which one's your favorite, but whatever, it's up to you. But yeah, as for my next one, I don't know. I actually don't, so like, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of weird, so again. That's for like let's play, that's kind of like something I don't know yet, but I'll take a break. So what I'm gonna do is, for the time being, I'm gonna take a bit of a break. I'm gonna take a bit of a massive break from Let's Play for a long while until I find a good one. Until I find a good one, I'm gonna do. So, yeah, I'm also doing some of my own stuff as well, but basically it's just, for now, really, I have no real clue. Maybe I should do some art stuff, but most of some ideas that I have in my head, yeah, here's what I'm gonna do, just stuff like that, really. Okay, again, I don't actually know. But oh boy, Final Case is always a good one. In those days when I was known as the Reaper, I felt your presence on my side. Once, unable to bear the burden that grim pseudonym, I retired from the courtroom. Despite everything, I still wear your prosecutor's badge of pride. But the darkness that once beset me is no more, as you too. In the words of a young foreign friend of mine, I must stride forward toward a brighter future. Hi, Mario. Mario! So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Play. It was... that was it, Can't read every letter now, from A to Z. The whole lot. It's clearly a lot of stuff up, the boss was trying to protect me, see? And that's exactly what me and the Chief Inspector Toby are gonna keep doing for the Londoners. Aww, Gina. I really wish I could say how grateful I was before he, God damn it, dude. It hurts, like, God, does it hurt? But I had fun. I had fun with this Let's Play. I had a lot of fun with it, genuinely. Like, I had a lot of fun with, like, all this stuff. I had fun with it. Again, haven't done an Ace Attorney game in a long time before. Oh my god, I'm gonna hear Gregson again. Sheena, The truth is, I'm not the upstanding fiddler you think I am. You might be a diver at heart, but it's a good heart. You reminded me a lot. I need to be true to myself. I've got one more job to take care of before it's ta-ta to London town for the foreseeable future. And then, I've got to complete your education, the art of deduction, a la Gregson, as they say. Oh, Gregson, no! That's the last time we see Gregson. What's funny is that Gregson is the only dead character we actually deceased character we do see in the credits ever. All the other deceased characters never see again. And, hell, even Mia, we never saw her at all, like, in the previous Ace Attorney credits. He's the only one. Fun fact, it's really odd, but... It was a fun Let's Play, I'm gonna say that right now. It was fun, all the cases, doing all the cases. The cases in this game are all genuinely really, really good, and that's something I really like about it, is that the cases are all super amazing, like, that's something I will say, but... Honestly, I don't know what else to say, except, well, except just the same again. Without repeating myself, just... Well, thank you guys. Genuinely. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this. If you joined from the very beginning, thank you. From the very beginning of the first game. Thank you very much. And yeah. So thank you so much for, joining me on this. So yeah, joining me in this Let's Play, and well, if you guys had fun with it, enjoying, basically every hour. I know it's long. I know it's very long. Compared to the other Ace Attorney videos, I know it's really long, much longer. But, like, the reason for that is because the cases in this game are much longer than the normal Ace Attorney cases. Like, they are. Like, really, if you actually compare. So, like, one of the longest cases in the entire series is, like, 12 hours, which is, but... Yeah, it's fun. That's what I would say, it was fun. I will say it was fun. So, I don't know what to say except just, well, thank you. So, yeah, I'm just gonna be quiet for the rest of the credits, and I'll basically, just like end the video when the credits end. So, yeah. See you guys in the end. Because I don't know what else to say. anyway, so we're pretty much near the end of the credits. Yeah, there's a second pair because remember this is Ace Attorney Chronicles, so yeah, which includes both games. So anyway, now we're in the end. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And well, also, okay, actually before we end it, I'm going to show you guys a little something you can get after completing both games. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick before I end it. But it's in the specials content section, so I'm going to show you guys that real quick. So I'm going to show you guys that actually real quick, so you know what, so we're going to do that. Double instance. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you guys the, we're gonna show you guys the little 2 commemorative pictures you can get. Commemorative pictures you can get in Ace Attorney Chronicles if you complete both games. Let me show you that. So, it's only you can get after completing both. Only. And, some stuff about special contents real quick, but just gonna be a little quick thing we're gonna show you, so. Yeah, let's get to it. And then we'll end it. Special contents. Here we go. Go to the art section. I'm gonna show you where that is. Also, I can show you guys exactly what all accolades look like. Here's basically every single achievement in the game finished. Essentially. There's every single achievement in the game. You get the greatest attorney, which you get every accolade, achievement. Defense debut. Basically, all of these, I've showed you these, but all of these you can get after completing every case in the game for the first time. For completing the first case from its opening chapter onward. So basically, not skipping, just like the complete thing all the way through, essentially. No skipping through, because again, there's like selection of chapters and stuff, but basically from the opening chapter onwards, you can do this. And Ace Aficionado, this one is from the extra episodes, extra escapades. Escapades are basically little adventures. I don't know if I'll do those, but I don't know if I'll do those. I don't think I will, but if you guys want to see them, you can find them on YouTube. If you guys really want to see them, you can find them on YouTube somewhere. I don't know if I'll do them, but yeah, basically I did those too, on my own time. Complete all, you get the achievement too. Ace of Spades, this one you get for basically examining the shovel in the office throughout the game, both games. Same with the step ladder in Madame Tuspel's place. You can see her having successfully presented evidence during the first cross-examination that occurs in both Ace Grace Attorney Adventures and 2. And then we have Prime Presser, also successfully pressing as well, first time. The Herlockian, this one, well, pretty obvious, like I said before. Happy Curiosity, for having thoroughly examined the medical report card inside and out in episode 1. Pill Perfectionist, the bed, during the, this one's actually really hard to get. This one is during the, like the flashback when like you're trying to figure out where Cosmo was looking, and you're trying to point to the closet. Yeah, basically, but instead you have to point to the bed. You don't present it, but you have to point at the bed. Hat Hunter, for having identified the millionaire responsible for the victim's hats. The second-rate strings, about the violin. Before talking with the Edie's about the Wilson topic, the woman, for examining the fireplace. Soki's story, we already did that one. Father's frustrator, and Down in 1. The Noodler. Inspirational Roots, this one is you show the armband to Van Zeeks. Best trips into town, after bringing consciousness. And then we have a Sogi Clan Appreciator. Examine the head of Karuma again. And here, the gallery, this is what I'm talking about. So if you go to portraits, you can see some concept art as well, things. Here we go, special exhibit. So this is unlocked after you beat here's what it looks like. And yeah, so you can read it for yourself, but I can read it. First, Ambitious Dreams. Since there are already commemorative group pictures at the end of each game, I sought to avoid the same themes with most of these pictures. I also didn't want to take away from the good vibes after finishing each title, so I gave it a lot of thought. In the end, I settled just using skin Kazuma, just 2 of them embodiment of the greatest attorney. The illustration tells the hope and ambitions of hearts, just before they set to their sail Great Britain, standing shoulder to shoulder in their turn towards the same future as their journey. Looking at this experience, the events of adventures is going back in time, and it sure stirs up all sorts of emotions. I drew a similar picture once with the Adventures art book, but this piece was going to be used in the game. I made it more of a snapshot, something that happened in the story itself. Anyway, Brothers in Dawn. I turned to the iconic final scene of Daybreaker between Ryunosuke and Kazuma for inspiration and symbolic illustration of parting ways. The image of the sun rising between the crossed swords is something I desperately wanted to include in the game, but it turned out to be a very emotional, powerful scene. It hints in the future, showing Wall as a metaphorical drawing a new age of the law, rushing down their respective paths and conviction in their hearts. Ryunosuke and Kazuma dashed in the opposite directions of the rising sun until the day their fates would cross again. Whereas the two of them were facing the same direction in Brothers in Ambitious Dreams, Brothers in Dawn presents the visual and thematic counterpart to complete the set. So yeah, you get these two after completing the game, after completing both games the first time. You get those, and all these are already unlocked anyway. But there's also like a special DLC as well that came with it. Like if you ordered the game during a certain amount of period time, or you know, like there are videos of it on YouTube. I don't have this, but you know, you'll see it when you see it. It's like kind of a special DLC that we basically got. And here we have the escapades. Taylor, of course, I already showed you how this in the game before. Credits, well, you know, all the staff credits, and that's it. And also, there's also the escapades as well, but the concept art and stuff. There's also the official concept art too, but books. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Play series. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video, whenever that will be. Bye.